You don't exist. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowed like sis. Dead up perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the 6th part of What If Naruto Enters Helluvaboss. Special note, this fanfic is written in the masterpiece of Bones Boy 15 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Heaven was, is, and shall forever be a glorious domain. The pinnacle of existence, the example of utopia in action, it was an ineffable ideal. In the absence of the Creator, who so often chose to let life find a way, it was overseen by the highest of angels, the seraphim. Of this class were the mighty trinity of archangels Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael, but they had duties assigned to them by the Lord that kept them away from the running of heaven. Thus, in their absence, they decreed that every few centuries or millennia, a seraphim would be elected to head the choir and rule heaven in the Lord's name. For the past few millennia, one seraphim was chosen more than others, and thus was the de facto current head of heaven. Her name was Sira. Currently, Sira was teaching a protege she'd chosen to be her successor, a fresh young seraphim that had emerged not even 4 centuries ago. Now, given it was an electoral choice in who helmed the golden throne in the absence of Ihu, one may find it odd Sira would seek a protege. To put it simply, she was tired. Yes, to protect heaven and lead its people was an honor, but it was exhausting. It was a duty not meant for a simple chorus member, one who yearned to return days long past, before the corruption of Eve, when her only concerns were the lights in the sky and the melody of the next song. It was a fantasy she dreamed of, one that never would be again since Lucifer's fall. The thought of angels falling from heaven left and right stoked within Sira something mortal, something primal. Fear. She hid it well, but she feared. Dearly and desperately she feared for her people, her home, her father's creations. It was why she approved the extermination day. It was why she so carefully kept her protege oblivious and naive, the road to heaven and all. And this fear struck anew when 3 little cherubs, one wounded quite drastically, plopped into her office from a familiar golden gate. My word, her protege, Emily, shot up from her seat and went to the wounded lamb, while Sira gathered the other 2 in her arms. The care and concern, prioritizing the wounded over the shaken, but aware of their needs, made Sira proud to see so much light radiate from the young seraphim. Oh, sweet little cherub, who did this to you? Rael. The lamb whimpered before he conked out in her arms. Take him to the medical ward, Emily. He must have that wound closed. Sira implored, her arms tightened slightly around the cherubs. I will see to these 2 and get an explanation. Of course, Emily nodded, and her 6 wings spread to let her fly off to give the little black lamb aid. Sira turned her gaze down on the trembling duo in her arms and carried them to her desk. Her eyes narrowed. Explain. The golden lamb whimpered and backed away. Red flag. Her eyes, all of them, looked at the other. The boy gulped. He looked at his hands and fat tears fell down his chubby cheeks as he trembled. He was too much. Breathe, she advised. Her gaze flicked between the 2 cherubs and she put gentle hands on their shoulders. Please, I just want to know what happened. Explain from the start. It was just a soul protection. Standard. To keep an unpleasant man alive with time to repent for his greed. The golden cherub whispered. She put her hooved hands over her face. If it weren't for those nasty imps? Say no more. Sira sighed. The forces of hell were always eager to add to their number, and Lucifer, if not Satan, always did little to encourage it. She gathered the little angel into her arms and hugged her with all of her love, care, and devotion. The cherub, poor little thing, so shocked by her experience, hesitated before she returned the gesture. Demonic attacks are difficult for even higher angels to stop. You tried to save a mortal soul, which is noble, but you came back safe and sound. That is what matters. The demons that shooted. Boo, but it wasn't a demon. Eyes fell on the boy cherub once more. He blubbered and sniffled. It was an angel. I beg your pardon? No, Lucifer himself wouldn't dare go above to claim a soul. Not since his attempt to turn Christ. It was an angel, Sira. The little lamb in her arms whispered. She trembled anew and started to cry. It was Raquel. Oh. Oh dear. You're certain of this? Sarah hissed and grabbed the cherub's shoulders. Positive? Absolutely. It was the sixth watcher. The lamb nodded. She sniffed. Sira, why you love us, right? All angels? Equally? Sira had never contemplated murder before. Not once in her entire millennia-spanning life. Not when the souls of men swarmed into heaven by wicked deeds, and not when some of her closest friends in the choir aligned themselves with Lucifer. But now, hearing this cherub's doubt in her, in heaven, in their way of life. Raquel, your time among us is numbered, Sira thought. Her eyes narrowed. Adam was getting restless and more obnoxious. He wanted the extermination to happen again sooner, and always made crude comments about his favorite exterminators. He was getting bolder, too, almost slipped up in front of Emily. Her hope, light, treasure for heaven's future. Unapologetic as he was, Adam would likely do so again until she acquiesced to his request. Unless hell forced her hand, Sira could not alleviate his boredom, but she would give him something to occupy his time with. First, she had to handle this. Her eyes cupped the little lamb's face. She smiled and her thumb brushed away a tear. Of course I do. She leaned in and pushed her lips to the lamb's head. Then, repeated the gesture to the other cherub. She cradled both small angels in her arms and smiled at them. Cherub or seraphim, highest choir member or mortal soul, I love all of heaven's inhabitants. I would do anything to protect them. Anything. And one last twist. Don't get excited, Luce. You remember what happened last time? This is very sensitive, weary. A jaunty if distorted tune rang out suddenly from the desk nearby one, and the king of hell jerked his arm sharply. The RBB duck he was working on exploded, and his face caked with soot. He coughed and wiped the spot from his face. He whirled on the ball of his foot and glared at the source of his disruption. What? The F. Does she want? He ground his teeth and curled his lip. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Don't let them know they get to you. Don't let them know they get to you. Don't let them know they get to you. With a nod, he strode over with purpose and answered the call. The phone flew from his hand and expanded into a screen. He glared at the image of the one on the other side. Sira. Lucifer. Ugh, the resonating call for a chorus echoed in his chest. Like all times before, few though they've been since they spoke, he blocked it. To anyone else, the heavenly host didn't so much as twitch, but to Lucifer, he saw her flinch and sob. Rejection hurts, doubly so from one's kin. He knew from experience. Was there a purpose for this call? I'm in the middle of very important work. Is this another negotiation attempt? They had to know he wouldn't buckle on anything that would risk his Charlie. When did you last speak with Raquel? Lucifer's eyes narrowed. Whatever that F-er did I had no part in. I swear it on my crown. Quick to make an oath implies a recent experience. That Sonovabich broke into my home with his gate a few weeks back. Said he wanted to meet a soul I had access to. I told him to F off. Lucifer snarled before he recomposed himself and smiled. He left. I will be honest, I don't trust your words. In case you've forgotten, my sin is pride, and I am proud to bear it. Lucifer crossed his arms and smirked. I would never risk my rule for that charlatan that pretends to be an angel. But you have spoken with him recently. Sira's eyes narrowed. She was shrewd, wary, and yes, still afraid. Pa, foolish seraphim. Her cards were clear to him as if he held them himself. Give him Michael or Gabriel over Sira, and he'd actually be on the defensive. And I never said I didn't. I told you about my recent interaction with him. What is the purpose of this call? A checkup? Lucifer waved his hand at her. Tell father he needn't worry about the outcasted children. We're thriving down here. Quite. He didn't like that look on her face. Raquel has killed a mortal caught in the midst of a battle between cherubs and imps. Imps? Imps. What were imps again? Oh, right, Satan's little horny fire toads that he made for his and Lilith's first anniversary. Those things were fugly cute, which is why he gave them more rights than the downright adorable puppers Bee made for Lilith based off of her ex. He didn't want Lilith to get interested in a pet fire toad, just Ike. At least the hellhound was bearable to lose attention to. What importance was this mortal to be caught between the weakest of angels and the scraps of hell? Really? Lucifer summoned his cane and leaned forward on it with a sharp grin. Do tell. Sulfuric yellow eyes cracked open and stared at a hole in a red ornate ceiling. Anyone get the size of that PP that just smacked the SHT out of me? Blitzo groaned and rubbed his head as he sat up. He looked around with bleary eyes, looked like his bachelor pad pre-Luna. Empty and Spartan. More mirrors than he ever expected to find, though. Mills? Mox? Looney? Blitzo turned to get out of the bed just as one of the walls opened. All right, people, Val wants us to reset for Dust's big SHDF. A production agent with a deformed face stared at Blitz. His lip curled. Who the F are you? That's an imp boss. A hulking grunt with boulder-sized shoulders and a pea-sized head said. Was it supposed to look like an inverted butt around a baby pee-pee? I know that SHT for brains. I asked who not what. Oh, that's an imp. As riveting as this conversation is, I have to find my underlings and daughter. So, Blitzo trailed off as a white-furred demon with long legs and a pronounced cleavage walked in. Hot F, is that angeldust? The angeldust? Aka, the one sinner that was the exception to Blitzo's rule of don't F sinners? Who wants to know? The sinner in question smirked as he sauntered forward and circled the imp. Horns are a bit small, face is a lil burnt, but I think this scene could work. He ain't the stud, the production manager pointed at baby PP's face. He is. Oh F, Dudley again? Come on, man, I had 8 scenes with him yesterday. Can't I F this little effer? Angeldust gestured at Blitzo, who grinned. I mean, not to brag, but I've got some experience in front of a camera. A gloved finger pushed against his lips. The heterochromatic-eyed sinner smirked down at him. Hush, shush, shush, little daddy, Angel cooed before he pinched Blitzo's face. The adults are talking. Angel, there's nothing to talk about. Val wants this scene shot. Yeah, and I don't want to do it. So, call him down here Sas, I can negotiate a new one, Angel argued. The production manager glared and spat vitriol before he pulled his hellphone out. Angel, meanwhile, sat on the bed and propped his chin up as he looked Blitzo over again. So, what's your SH dick? About a half-foot longer than yours, TWK. Ha, cute, Angel crossed his arms to emphasize his bits. I meant what's an imp doing all the way down in Pentagram City? Most of you cute little F-ers avoid it like the plague. Well, Angel, get the F over here. Blitz turned to see the speaker and then back at the demon, who seemed a little paler. He looked back at the overlord of lust, one of the VS, whose name had spread to even Blitzo's corner of the world. He took in his situation and paled. SHT, that's F Valentino. I'm so F. So, you see, sir, I didn't mean to trespass. I'm just looking for my wife. Moxie laughed nervously as he was slowly surrounded by a group of eagerly smiling individuals. He'd been wandering for a few hours after awakening in an alleyway. The people were all pleasant and kind until he stepped on someone's lawn. Let's turn him into Imp Puddin', a voice called from the back of the growing crowd. No, I want imp legs and soup. UF French BSTRD. Moxie tried to use the ensuing argument to slip away, only to back into a tall woman with vacant eyes and sharp teeth. Well, aren't you a treat? Moxie could only stare, lost in the void of her eyes. Aren't you going to say something? A lady may get the wrong idea if she catches someone staring. That is to say. Oh, I love imps. So precious. The woman tittered. The collar of his suit was snagged, and he was hoisted up. The smiling woman held him over her head and faced the mob. Hey, SHT for brains. They stopped and started whispering. Moxie caught the name Rosie and his tail curled up beneath him. There was one Rosie he'd heard of, and one Rosie only, and he wanted nothing to do with her. This little imp is mine. I see any one of you try something, and it'll be the last thing you do. Furthermore, I have a sale later today on finger foods. Finger food sale? The mob suddenly ran off and trampled over each other in the process. Moxie watched the few stragglers dove onto the trampled with reckless abandon. And eat them, he gulped. Thank you. You can put me down now. No, I don't think I will. The woman, Rosie, smiled and readjusted him in her arms to cradle him as if he were a cat. Any protest that might have escaped his lips died with the first rake of fingers down from the crown of his head to his spine. Instantly, Moxie turned to mush. Jaya Ahuha. Good little impai. Such a sweet little man. Yes, you are. And so you say the fallen angel did not leave you harmed? A large cloaked figure with 4 glowing green eyes asked the imp seated across from him. He quietly sipped at the cup of tea set before him. No, I'm as fine as a horse's butt, Mr. Zestial. Millie beamed at the sinner, his infamy known even to her neck of the woods. She thought they all kind of got a bad rap, which was partially why she pushed Moxie into working with her with Blitz. The rest of her reasoning for working for Blitz was to sate her own bloodlust that was only a little more than common with denizens of Wrath. She slurped at her own tea and winced at the sound of it. Sorry? 'Tis nothing to forgive. Zestial dismissed her with a crooked smile. His teacup set delicately before him with nary a sound. His smile widened and his eyes narrowed. Mayhaps you can further indulge my curiosities and inquisitions? Sure, I suppose. Millie didn't know why everyone was so afraid of sinners and overlords. This Zestial fella was awfully sweet. Life was good. She slept dreamlessly, for she felt safe and secure. She was surrounded by violets and coconuts. A gentle rumble vibrated around her, soothing her aches. Something scratched gently into her side, over ribs to her hip and back, and warm puffs of air blew into parts of her face. Luna hummed and cracked open her red eyes. 2 blue pools stared back at her from where they connected to a cute vulpine face. Larger ears that peeked in her direction twisted away just once, and a sweet little black nose that looked oh so boop-able was just out of her reach. She smiled up at her source of tranquility. Her light, her warmth, and best of all a childish part of her buried deep. Deep down in her walled-off heart squealed and squirmed giddily. She had a effin' boyfriend who was cute as SHT. Choke on it, Selena. Her boyfriend. Hey, she cooed, reaching up to cup his face with a hand and bring him down for a boop. Embrace? Either worked, honestly. Ooh, an embrace this time? Well, it had been 2 weeks. There's the boop. Hey, yourself. Naruto rumbled back with a small little chuckle that made her insides turn to goo. His rumble got louder when she pecked his lips again and his claws stilled on her side. Blue eyes expressive as more appealing and exotic than sapphires she'd seen in jewelry stared into her plan, boring reds. I'm not complaining about the surprise, but how did you get here? Luna decided that maybe she should take in her surroundings. Oh, hey, she knew this gaudy little room. It was their hotel room in Pentagram City, in the Princess Hotel for Sinners. Hold on. How? She started to get up and whimpered as her back protested. He was there, more physically, nuzzled her head and his rumble loud enough to shake the bed. The aches in her body dulled and she melted into him. I woke up when you fell on me from some black fiery gate. Naruto mumbled into her notched ear. He kissed her at the base of it and Luna almost wanted to jump him then and there. Cognitive functions were working, but the instinct to claim him as fully hers was growing. Mercifully, her sore body kept her from making a fool out of herself. What happened? I don't. She closed her eyes and recalled the day. Was it the same day? Was it later? She didn't know. All she knew was it sucked up until now. Focus. What's the question? What happened? Blitzo dragged me along on a job. We had to kill some old rich effer for his old boss, I guess. There were cherries, there. Cherries? He asked. Little angel shitheads. Luna shrugged. She was more pissed about being dragged along to a forced family fun affair than she cared about the title of Heaven's Little Angels. Cherubs. He nuzzled and scented her cheek before kissing it. They get you with anything? No. I didn't even have to get involved until one prick with black wings showed up. Black wings? He asked. A growl, not her favorite growl, but a sexy one all the same, laced his words. His arms tightened slightly around her. The almost coconut part of his scent grew thicker and the violet stronger. Did you see how many? I dunno, 4? 6 maybe? She was starting to breathe. His scent was just so strong. She twisted in his grasp and scented his neck. Unshowered, still ruffled from sleep, There was not enough of her scent on her boyfriend. She grumbled as she rubbed her muzzle into his fur, nipping here and there to make her scent cling. "It looked human?" he asked. She was a little preoccupied and growled in irritation when his claw pulled her muzzle away from his neck. He growled back. She really didn't want to start an F-fight, but if he didn't let her finish scenting him, she was going to boop. Alright, well, she was focused on him now. Boyfriend lips. Best lips to meet so early in the day. "Loon, I missed you, too, but I need you to answer my question." He mumbled against her lips. "Oh, come on. It's been almost 2 weeks since they had any serious alone time together." Luna's instincts didn't want to waste any more time. Luna didn't want to waste any more time. She wanted some TLC from her boyfriend, damn it, because her day sucked. What did this prick look like? Was he like them? An angel? Yeah, I guess. Black wings, good at teleporting magic. Luna rumbled and nipped at his chin. There's a good sign. Wriggler's thwap 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 was increasing. The rumble changed, just slightly, as he started to reciprocate her advances and his claws grazed just below her spot F. Yes, Luna needed that. Heavy petting, maybe some oral play. Wait, why was he stopping? Yeah, the effer that easily whooped her butt. Strong, fast, too. Dodged my claws, threw me through walls twice. You okay? His lips and nose checked and scented her while his claws ghosted over her ribs. Come on, get your claws just a bit higher, ugh. DMN her FTs of a boyfriend. She growled at him and he growled back. Got him, cheater. Didn't he know how hot that was to her? Her growl stopped and she whined in need. A sudden embrace cut the whine short before that too was taken. But, Luna. My back's a little sore, okay? She growled at him again before her claws traced through the fur on his arms. She whined. It's just sore, I promise. So, can we please? Oh, yes. Yep, her boyfriend was an idiot butt sometimes, but his claws were F-magic. She twisted, ignoring the burning sting in her spine as she did, to look down at him. Oh, was it a shirtless Naruto she was laying on? Luna liked that discovery. Her tail swoosh swoosh swooshed where it was beneath the covers. A claw traced over his shoulder and she pushed her lips to his. His arms were lean and his chest firm as she pressed against it. His lips tasted so F-good. Ugh, sometimes she wanted to eat him. That probably wasn't a healthy thing to admit. Missed you so F-much, he muttered around her lips. She whined in agreement before she snagged his lip in her teeth and tugged. He growled at her, and she growled back as the lip released. A boop brought brevity to the increasing chance of activity. Violet and almost coconut. I'm sorry you had a bad day. No, you're not. She smirked against his lips. She could feel his pee-pee press against her thigh. He was sweet though, not bringing it up. That might get frustrating down the line, but that was future Luna's problem. Yes, I am. She huffed and rubbed her leg along his pee-pee. He hissed and tried to pull back. She captured his lips again and pushed her tongue into his mouth. There was slight resistance. Her fox fiend was going to be a menace once he figured out proper tonsil hockey, but ultimately she won. They parted for air again, and she smirked at him. If you missed me so much, why didn't you just kidnap me? His eyes narrowed. You did not just go there. The F are you gonna do about F? She hissed when he flipped them. Her sore back pushed onto cushions, but the lit fire in her loins overpowered the dull throb in her back. Then her idiot boyfriend tore off her shirt. I liked that top, USHT. Her sore back arched as his teeth closed around a piercing. In hindsight, maybe trying to pick a fight with him while he had access to her tits was a bad idea. That tug bordered the line of painful F. Magic claws are back. Oh, F. OSHT, yes. She whimpered and whined as he toyed with her melons. A need on one side often meant the other was tweaked. One would get pinched as his tongue F Satan's SHT. He was figuring out how dexterous his tongue could be. Her brief streak of victories in tongue war was at risk curled and suckled around the other. He pulled away and rumbled at her, his teasing claws clutched over her chest and his nose so tantalizingly close for a boop, but just out of her reach. You asked what I'm going to do? I'm going to make you have a better day. I'm going to return the favor you did to me at Oz's. I'm going to take everything you've got and leave you drained. He stole an embrace and smirked. And then I'm going to do it again. The promise in his growled words caused her tail to go in a frenzy even as she started to breathe. Yes, yeah, she wanted that so bad, yes. Just as his claw drifted toward her spot, just as the boiling embers reached the edge of pouring over, just like every thing else that was good in Luna's life, something had to come along and it up. Alright, Naru. The door swung open and Princess Charliemorningstar strode in like she owned the place. Rise and shine, we have more work to do. I'm so sorry. Charlie. Get the out, Luna snarled over Naruto's shoulder as he quickly covered her exposed tits with his body. Not that she particularly cared if the Princess of Hell saw her tits, but she understood. Instincts were a beach like that. The flustered royal backed out and slammed the door shut, leaving them in the room. An almost uncomfortable silence passed. Luna almost whimpered. The moment was gone, and the boiling fire inside her was doused faster than a drunken Blitzo rant could ever manage. Damn it, she was not going to get the finish she wanted. Her head pressed into his shoulder just as he growled into the mattress. There goes the mood. His ears folded back and his eyes squeezed shut. Aw, he whimpered. Luna felt a little touched that he was disappointed. Was that weird? That might be weird. Got him it, Charlie. You've got a gig working for Morningstar? Was gonna text you when I woke up. He sighed and rolled them so she could lay atop him again. Much more comfortable on her end. She sighed and rested her hand on his chest, playing with the cream-colored patch that rested there. He rumbled, less hot, less worked up. Ugh, Luna was disappointed too. Short term, they needed someone trustworthy to fix their plumbing. Sinners, you know? Luna didn't, but she'd heard stories about them. Still, her boyfriend was going to be in Pentagram City and had his own room to crash in. Maybe she could twist this to her advantage. How long's it for? Probably keep me busy for another week, if I can do it right. Last thing I need is another sudden B-Day incident. Luna snorted and he knocked her on the nose. She growled without heat and he gave her a flat stare. Don't mock me for your building's shitty plumbing. I'm mocking your shitty plumbing skills. You are, huh? He growled and leaned in and oh, was he going to try again? Luna was so down for that. Of course, then the door opened. Charlie, eyes covered by a hand and turned away, poked her head in backwards. Hey, Naruto, sorry, but we really need your help with the shower in 504. It keeps leaking green, like a lot. What? No, hold on, I am going to murder a dozen clones. Naruto groaned into his hand. Lazy bastards. Yeah, give me 5 minutes, Charlie. Sorry. The door shut and Luna flopped her head onto her boyfriend's chest. He stroked her hair and his lips pecked her head. Closer to the TLC she'd wanted, but not what she expected. His hand stopped. Luna? It's not your fault, she sighed. And it wasn't. He was technically on a live-in job with the overly friendly Princess of Hell and her bitchy girlfriend. That raised a whole new level of concerns Luna wasn't ready to seriously address, so they should have expected this to happen. Even if she only found out just now, the location she woke up in should have tipped her off. No, well, sorry about that, but you said you were on a job with Blitzo, and I assume the other two, right? Yeah? Where do you think they ended up? Luna stiffened. She wound up in Pentagram City with her boyfriend. Fatty could F off and Millie was a little rabid SHT, but Blitzo, for all that he annoyed her, irritated her, and pissed her off at time, was still the one hellborn that saw value in her. Sure, just shy of 18 years too late, but still. I don't know. Seriously, Blitz? All the SHT you put me through and you pull this? Answer your DMN phone. The enraged hellhound wearing an oversized shirt that acted more as a dress snarled as she paced the main lobby of the renovating Happy Hotel while alone, bored purple. I followed her. This had been the situation for the past 4 hours since their handyman pulled his lazy butt out of bed. It was not how Vaggie wanted to spend her day. Granted, it wasn't like she wanted to use her day to work on the hotel some more, but that was preferable than playing babysitter for the Estúpido Zoro's hellhound girlfriend. Charlie offered, but there was no way Vaggie was going to leave her girlfriend with this beach while she was so agitated. There's already a new hole in the front wall from where a chair had been introduced to orbit via kick. Admittedly, it was impressive that the antique chair not only remained intact, but also got so much distance. F hypocritical BSTRD. The hound snarled as she typed into her phone. He goes dark, probably getting reamed by some butt named Tiny, and can't send a goddamn text about it. F second I cut contact with him to hang out with a cute guy. What's he F do? Goes absolutely apeshit, arg. Did you try the other two? Vaggy asked. She didn't really care imps were a F dime a dozen and had the best repopulation chances outside of other Hellborn, but figured she should try to keep the hound from losing her F mind. F no. Fatty can choke on a F corndog for all I care, and Millie's tougher than F iron. The hound snorted. Wouldn't surprise me if she F saving both of their worthless asses. The doors slammed open, and as if summoned, a little red imp strode in, slightly bruised and mangled. Draped over one of her shoulders was a white-haired imp that was naked, which was way more than Vaggy needed to see today save for the collar around his neck. Being dragged by the tail in her other hand was a taller imp with black and white horns, bare of clothes save the chaps around his waist and boots on his feet. Please, no more. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak and spongy. The imp muttered, his eyes unfocused and lost. Which, okay? Behind them, poking his head in the door, was a white-furred sinner with heterochromatic eyes. Vaggy immediately went on the defensive. Who the F are? Her angelic spear was knocked from her grasp by a giant F-off axe. Emissive sulfuric eyes glared up at her as the little imp woman growled. She stormed past the stunned Vaggy and threw the dragged imp at the hound's feet. Here, effin' take care of your butt pops, she growled. She dug around in her pocket and tossed 2 phones, which the hound caught. What the F are? Ya kept blowing 'em up. We almost got F in 8 6 times 'cause of that. Well F excuse me, no one else was trying to tell me what the F was happening. The hound snarled back before she scowled. How the SHT did you even find me? Blitz's got a tracker on your phone. Of course he does. The hound snarled down at the groggy imp. She kicked him in the side and launched him across the main lobby. He bounced off of the stairwell archway and landed back on the floor with a thud. Stomping over, she snapped the phones in her grasp and shoved the parts into the imp's mouth. F butt, eat M and SHT off the F overpass. There was so much context Vaggy didn't have, nor want, for that. So much. A whistle had her looking back at the small imp with the axe. Also, we need to get the F out of here before the VS come down on us. The imp pointed at the sinner with her axe. Meet Angeldust, best pawn star in the 9 circles, and the lucky Ijot that was helping Blitz get away from Valentino's gimps. Also, he's pretty effin' good with guns. Hey, I'm a lot effin' better than that fat sack of SHT you call a husband, toots, Angeldust snapped, stepping into the doorway with 4 arms crossed. The little imp turned and hissed at him, and he held his hands up. She huffed and walked over to the couch and dropped the white-haired NDE imp onto it, before she climbed up to sit by him and coo while she pet his head. Meanwhile, Angeldust looked at Vaggy, then at the hound that was now leaving the main hall, then back at Vaggy. So, I heard this place was offering rooms free of charge. Is that true? Not X. Oh, hi Charlie. Wait, Charlie? Wasn't she on the 5th floor? Free of charge for anyone who wants to try to redeem themselves. Her girlfriend exclaimed as she materialized out of thin air. Razzle and Dazzle flew in from the stairwell, both tiny drakes doing their best equivalent of pants. Charlie took Angeldust's hand in her own and shook it rapidly. Hi, pleased to meet you. My name is charliemorningstar, call me Charlie, and this is Vaggy, and we welcome you to the Happy Hotel. You wanted to stay here and try to redeem yourself? You don't charge for rent or nothin'. The sinner smiled as he shook her hand. Vaggy opened her mouth to reiterate the terms of a stay, but Charlie grinned. Nope. Babe. BF? Well, count me in, Angeldust grinned. Sure thing, welcome to the hotel. I'm sorry, your name is? Charlie asked, smiling sheepishly. Angeldust, but you, Han, can call me Angel. He crossed his arms under his exposed chest and rubbed his chin. Morningstar, huh? Ain't that the big PP in charge's name? Ain't you worried he might come after you for, whatchacallit, infringement? Pretty sure her father will be okay with it. Vaggy deadpanned. Angeldust looked at Vaggy, then her beaming girlfriend, then back at Vaggy, and then at Charlie. Then he pointed at Vaggy and covered his mouth with one hand. Who's the stiff Latina? This depraved F-er was so F-lucky Charlie was right there. Oh, Charlie beamed and gave her a hug. Charlie hugs no. Wait, focus, Vaggy. This sinner was trying to take advantage of her girlfriend's kind heart. This is Vaggy, our head of security and my girlfriend. Oh, into a little salad tossing, huh? That can be fun. Angel smirked, his golden tooth gleaming. Okay, Charlie, we need to talk. Vaggy growled as she pushed her girlfriend back toward the stairwell. They almost tripped over the tall imp in the process as he groggily sat up, spat out the remnants of his phones, and grabbed his head. Why do I feel like I got reamed 6 ways to Sunday in a bad way? Because you did, cutie. An NNND, that's where Vaggy checked out of that conversation and focused on the one with her girlfriend. The one where they revisited stranger danger, particularly that of the sinner variety. Angeldust, if that was even his real name, was not staying in this hotel if she had anything to say about it. That should do it. All right, done on my end, over. Naruto radioed to his clones as he finished reassembling the water filtration system of the hotel. It was actually a very interesting process. The trick used to make water pipes work down here was to find a leak in the envy ring, the one ring that didn't know how to nor want to keep itself isolated. Not unlike its ruler, the F-massive weirdo that they were, and then attach a pump system to it. Manual was the most common since it was the easiest system to make and maintain, but recent advances above and a near overabundance of technologically gifted sinners have made automated pumps more commonplace. However, waters of envy weren't exactly the purest of things to exist, an understatement if ever there was one. So, filtration systems were developed, and Naruto, having experience being a handyman not just for B, but himself growing up in Konoha, was rather adept at fixing them. Okay, boss, we're set up here, over. Allen's why? Naruto grabbed a big yellow lever and pulled it down. The filtration shuddered and rumbled as the pump was given free rein to allow some of the intrusive waters of envy through. He scrutinized it with narrowed eyes before he put the radio to his mouth again. What's it look like up there? What's that, boss? You're breaking up, over. He'd almost believe it if not for the immature snickering that had been audible behind the message. F smart asses. He grumbled and radioed again. What does it look like up there, over? A beat passed before the cheeky BSTRD with the radio reported in. Looking good up here, boss. No leaks or misfilters, over. Thank F. He sighed and pulled a towel from his pocket to rub over his face. This room was boiling, and he was this close to start panting. He draped the towel on his bare shoulder and lifted the radio up. All right, F-ers, if you're not going to dispel, get to work on that east corner roof. Over. Roger, boss. We'll get right. Hey, Luna, what's happening? Nope, not the real one. What? Naruto stared at the radio in his hand. She could tell that? Of course I am. I'm the best, Databeo. The F? Beat it, clone. Uh-oh. Luna wasn't in a good mood. Oh, F. Naruto rubbed his head at the migraine that came from her method of dispelling. The radio crackled to life. F idiot, where are you? Downstairs in the boiler room. Don't F move. That snarl, which was weirdly hot, was a demand. Really? After she did that to his clone? She knows he gets memories and phantom pains from their dispelling. He scoffed and held the radio up. Based on recent events, that doesn't seem beneficial to my health. He started to walk toward the door. It had been 4 hours. He needed a lunch break or something. F swear, if you move at F muscle, hey, you, get the F over here. What's up, Loon? You want some smooch? Okay, what the F did I do? Naruto asked no one in particular, his ears flat against his head and tail wound tight around his legs. He did not know Luna had gotten to a point where she could empower her strikes with magic. F cold-based magic, too? Ugh, that SHT was the F worst. Solid deck to the snout or not. He did not want any part of the cold touch she had. You felt that, right? That's what'll happen to you if you move. Now stay the F put. This is me. Not moving. Naruto radioed back as he manually pulled his tail off of himself and straightened it out. Okay, time for calm breaths. It was just Luna. She just wanted to rant, probably. Or maybe she wanted a boop? Yeah, That's probably all it was, and his scent was everywhere because of his clones, and how many did she destroy before she found the one with the radio? Buddy, maybe I should make more clones before she finds me. The door to the boiler room slammed open, and he whirled on the ball of his feet. What he saw at the top of the stairs was the silhouette of his very sexy and very irate girlfriend wearing one of his older shirts and her gorgeous glowing eyes. One of her clawed hands held the door open, and the other had the radio clone grasped in it. It dispelled when her hand clenched tight and she growled. "Here you are." "It's so wrong that this is so hot," Naruto muttered. He shook it off, dispelled his radio with a crush of his own hand, and grinned up at the sexy she-hound that was. Was she sauntering down the stairs? No, the air was full of the spicy vibes of wrath, each tinged with a speckling of FBN, So what would he call that? It was too light to be stomping, not measured enough to be skulking. Stalking, perhaps? Yeah, he was going to go with stalking. Of course, he named the sexy walk just as Luna made it the bottom of the stairs. She grabbed his muzzle once she was in reach and brought him down for a boop. Okay? He figured this was the case. Too many clones and sent trails threw her off, which was really the point of their existence, and all right. I embrace? Yeah, he's good with THO. Oh, rough embrace, not as fun. Oh, Luna, oh, F. Naruto pushed her off with a yelp and poked at his lip with his tongue. That was a relatively large bit of flesh missing. Luna, what the F? Rather than answer, she snarled and dove back for another. He countered, twisted around her to hug her from behind, captured her wrists in his own and snarled back at her. No, we're not doing this when you're this pissed off. Why do you think I came looking for you? But I want to calm down. Then F do it like this, Naruto growled as he pushed his snout to hers in a forced and awkwardly angled boop. Not as effective. She was growling still, but it lessened. She tried to push for another embrace, and he twisted his muzzle out of the way. The growl became a whine. Please? Please, Naruto. I'm sorry, I just need... No, Luna. We need to talk about what just happened. He kept a growl up his F-mouth hurt and pulled her with him to sit on the floor. Not only was it tactically more advantageous and more comfortable. Once they were seated, he scented at her, evaluated the vibes coming off of her. The spice was gone, and there was a sour bit of resentment, fear, and bitter self-loathing. The FBN vibe was still there, but faint amongst everything else. Further evaluation bordered a vibe check, and he wouldn't do that without consent or absolute necessity. She whined and kept trying to twist around, to force something that was not meant to be used like a crutch. He got why she wanted to boop. It was a special thing, their thing. It was a reclaimed and renamed thing for her and a unique thing for him. He put his muzzle between her ears, rested atop her hair, and rumbled. She calmed further, but continued to whine. But he hated that sound. Enough, Luna, he grumbled softly. She stopped, thanked the questionably omniscient Big G for his mercies, and he let his rumble resonate through his words. You tore part of my lip off. Nips and bites are fine, SHT, I think they're hot. That you're hot. But that SHT you just did, tearing my mouth, that F hurt. I'm sorry. I know. He kissed her notched ear. He'd have to get the story of how that happened one day and adjusted his grip on her arms to be less of a restraint and more of a comfortable hug. She couldn't be allowed to turn around yet, even if he wanted to look her in the eye and talk. The rank vibes that lingered told him it wasn't a good idea. She whined and he shushed her. I just want to know why, Loon. The hellhound in his arms was stubbornly quiet. Ugh, why did this have to be so difficult? Look, he sighed. I've seen enough of B's relationships to know that having a partner doesn't mean you can just beat them up whenever and they'll shrug it off because of love or some SHT. It's about teamwork, communication. You can smack my snout here or there, I'm a big boy. I know I get stupid and I can take it, but if making me bleed like that makes you feel better, that's not okay. That means something is wrong. It doesn't. I don't feel better. Luna whimpered. Her tail curled in front of her legs and her claws interlaced with the back of his. I don't. I was just so it's all so up. Naruto. I just want it to stop. And you can make it stop. Another whine came, but with it were droplets on his arms. Oh, okay. The vibes changed to a sharp bitter. This was bad. He increased his rumble and nuzzled her head. But I'm not a drag or sex toy. I'm your boyfriend. You can talk to me, Luna. He kissed her head, cheek, and ear before he rested his head on hers again. I'm listening. I'll always listen. You just have to talk. It's just F. Where do I F start? She sniffed and nudged her head into his jaw. He nuzzled back, rumble on blast, and she scented him before she growled. F. Blitzo. This morning's interruption F yesterday? It's just. Okay. He tightened his hug and loosened it. Let's work it back. Are you still sore? No, thank F. She let out a very dry laugh. Pissed at Charlie? At me? No. And, kinda. He arched a brow and pushed a question through the rumble. She huffed and tilted her head back to scent his neck. There was a sweet amusement that breached her bitter vibes, and a slight spice. You make too many F-clones, but... Not apologizing for that. Naruto snorted at her growl. They're useful. I will say I'm sorry you had to go through 14 cheeseheads before you got the real deal. Ooh, the cheese lord, lucky F me. DMN right you are. He smirked at the soft elbow. That was a pass-worthy hit. All right, so yesterday. You're mad you got beat up. No, I'm mad I got tossed through 2 walls. And? I need F more than that. Well, I guess not everyone can be as awesome as I am. He sighed as his tail flicked. She plucked a fur from his arm and he hissed. Oh. So awesome. I thought hurting me didn't make you feel better. Hurting, no. She cupped his muzzle and tilted her head up to put her nose just under the lip she'd ripped. He growled, a warning, but let her peck him. I am sorry, Naruto. I believe it. He rumbled. He let his eyes drift shut. If I knew why you like hurting me, I'd be more forgiving. I don't like hurting you. Luna growled before she stopped and sighed. Really? I don't, but humbling you. I F knew it, he smirked. Humbling and hurting aren't the same thing. She said, pulling his fur and biting his face. You're the one trying to help me calm down, but... And she calls me names, too. He scoffed around a laugh before he pushed his head into hers from the side. Mean ol' Luna. So lucky she's so hot. F you. She growled and pushed at his face. He stubbornly remained put and let her stew in the rank vibe blend that was starting up for only a second. Then, his tongue lashed out and clipped her notched ear. The rank vibes scattered as the FBN vibe rushed in and a not angry growl shook with her tremble. Maybe later, if you're good, he rumbled. A claw left where it rested at her waist and tilted her muzzle to meet him in a boop. They hummed against each other. So yesterday, mad you lost. Yeah. Pretty red eyes cracked open to meet his plain blue. Mad I had to go. Mad I hadn't seen you. Couldn't smell you. Couldn't taste? Naruto asked around a smile he couldn't help it. This was great for his ego. His lips pecked hers briefly. She whined and tried to make another after he pulled away. He pinched her side with the claw that was down there. No. I asked you a question. Yes, F you, you egotistical butt. I missed you, Luna whined, ears flat. He smiled and gave her another embrace. Let this one linger, and then nipped her lips. She gasped and oh, hey, Luna smelled really good right now. DMN, he hated that he had to put that on the back burner. Okay, so, you missed me and were forced to go on this mission. Why is that? Forced family fun. It's a stupid clause I agreed to back when I first started living with Blitzo. To build the bond or some SHD, she sighed. I could have moved out whenever, but... He's your dad. Naruto understood, to an extent. B never outright claimed to be his mom. Something about that would make their relationship weird. She'd said, but that's what she essentially was for the better part of his life. There were times that signs of it sprung up, like whenever she stopped him from training or limiting his ramen intake, which, by the way, was so hypocritical, it wasn't even funny, but for the most part, she was his sister in every way but BLD. Yeah, she sighed and then growled. He's just so it's like he's afraid I'll forget what he did for me, like, I'll just leave him to F-rot or something. If he didn't do half the SHD that pisses me off, he'd have nothing to F-worry about. And then I find out he put a F-tracker on my phone. Well, that? He trailed off. There was no way to actually defend that. A bug buzzed by his ear and he swatted it with his tail. It shot off and impacted with a wall. Damn it. got too close. A pair of sunglasses were tossed aside to the golden beach beneath the wearer. From a box set beside a bottle of wine came a new pair. Ugh, this one's all the way in greed. Damn it, that'll take hours to get back to pride. Why do you keep watching this guy, anyway? I mean, he's cute and all, but aren't you married? Ugh. How many times do I have to tell you to go away? But you're our guest, and as a member of the choir and of the seraphim, I have to. Be a good host in the name of the host, the two said simultaneously. The sunglass-wearing voice sighed. Listen, kiddo, things aren't always what they seem, be it heaven or hell. And I owe someone big for helping me get here, so to pay them back, I'm watching out for this kid. Oh. The other hummed and looked at the glass's lens. She giggled. Well, at least he's cute. Yeah, that's a big breach of trust. Naruto hummed. His rumble dimmed. He pushed his nose to the base of her notched ear and scented it. And I can see where that's upsetting. Understatement. Luna growled. He growled back and tightened his hug again. Her growl stopped and he replaced his with a rumble. But even if you're pissed at him, that doesn't give you a right to bite me. And the boob isn't a drag. It feels good because we, together, make it feel good. Naruto added over her attempt to apologize. He wasn't in the mood to deal with platitudes. The whimper was soft, but the message got across. He kissed her cheek. A delightful lack of stinging pain told him his lip had healed and rubbed his muzzle against her face. Rumble on blast. Just tell me you need one next time. Don't attack my clones and snarl at me. And unless I give you the okay, don't bite my face. Okay? Okay, was her soft response. He dipped his head to rest beneath her chin and scented her neck. She tilted her head and gave him access to it, so he gave her throat a gentle lick. He felt the shudder that went through her and brought his head back up to nuzzle hers. You know, my mouth still hurts. I said I was? Luna. He chuckled and pulled back to push his nose to her notched ear. Softly, he added, I could use an embrace to make it better. Oh, her lips pulled up into a small smile and he loosened his grip on her to let her turn around. She did, twisted to sit in his lap sideways. As her arms encircled his neck, one set of his claws rested on her curvy hips while the other reached up and brushed her hair from her face before it cupped her cheek. Their noses came together in a gentle, more natural boop. They smiled at one another and he pushed his lips out to meet hers. She moaned against his mouth and he kept it together for a beat longer. Then they parted for air and he put his head against hers. See? Much better, he rumbled. Meichem, she hummed and sniffed. I'm sorry. Forgiven. He muttered as he pulled his muzzle from where it rubbed against hers. His thumb came up and brushed away her tears as her tail gave a cautious little wag. Another gentle peck was left on her nose and he stared into her tear-rimmed red eyes. It occurred to him how she was sitting on him, how isolated they were, and that there was an abundance of the FBN vibe in the air along with the taste of her vanilla scent. You know, I did promise to make your day better. Luna's tail went swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. She was so cute. Yeah, her muzzle dipped forward and rubbed under his. His rumble grew louder, his tail wriggled, and her tail wagged. He nuzzled back into her. Yeah. His claw slipped under the hem of his lone shirt to graze over her thigh. She growled her no angry growl at him, and he growled back. Their lips came together again, officially healed. Yes, no pain. That meant it was playtime, and he ended the embrace with a nip on her chin. So, how about I slip you out of those shorts and... The boiler room door slammed open. Luna, are you down here? No, they weren't that unlucky, were they? Something flipped at the top of the stairs, and the fluorescent light above them flickered into life. Hey, what the F are you doing down here? Get your claws off of her, you FPD flea. Luna snarled, and her claws dug into Naruto's shoulders. I'm gonna kill him. Swear on Satan's sin, I'm killing him. I'm tempted to let you. Naruto growled. His rumble ceased once more when he heard a sharp click from the top of the stairs. Was Thaw, Christ on a stick, these two really could be related with the amount of blind wrath vibes that they could release. He was forced to make an awkward lunge to a brickside corner as a bullet flew through the space where his head used to be. SHT, he actually shot? Got him at Blitzo. What the F are you doing? Luna snarled as she scrambled to her feet and stood snarling at the bottom of the stairwell. Loony, honey, where the F is your shirt? No, you know what? I know you think this is okay, that he actually cares, but it really F isn't and he F doesn't. Now, get back up here, we're leaving. F you. Naruto sighed and rested his head against a brick pillar. As he half listened to them shout at each other, he growled and scratched at his ringing left ear. Why didn't he let B eat this guy again, right? He was Luna's dad. On paper. For 5 years. He let his eyes close and huffed. If anyone needed therapy more, it's probably these two. All Blitzo remembered was waking up sore and with bits of phone in his mouth. Also, memories of Angeldust's magnificent not tits in his face, and his tight little butt, and those F legs that went on for days. Ugh, he was strong just thinking about it. His first thought after realizing he'd escaped the Overlord Valentino was to find Luna and get out of here so they could collect on their bounty. So, he did. In the arms of that F-pedo she thought was her boyfriend she'd learn in a basement. Of course Blitzo took a shot at him. He had to get her, Mox and Mills out of here before some twisted sinner went apeshit. First, he had to calm Luna down. I can't believe you shot at us. You don't see me taking shots at your feathered F buddy when he's getting DTFY. His hellhound baby shouted as she climbed up the steps. Clearly she was traumatized by whatever SHT that Royal F was putting her through. She'd forgotten something about that inaccurate comparison. Now, Luna, you and I both know that what happens between Stolas and I is simply business. Oh, so it's okay so long as it's business? She crossed her arms, still 2 steps down, and glared at him for a hot second. Her lip curled and her tail lashed. She half turned down the stairs. Hey, Naruto, hire me to kill someone and pay me with sec. That kidnapping FRDMN well better not. Blitzo roared past her. He pointed a finger at the Royal F. Huh? What the F was he staring at them like that for? Geez, what a mouth. If only he wasn't after Luna that molested his precious child. You go near her and I don't care what sin is protecting you. I swear I'll... F you, Blitzo, Luna snarled as she got in his face. Oh, that's a lot of hellhound teeth. Maybe Blitzo might have overstepped, like that time he tried to get Luna to quit smoking. I'm so sick of your hypocrisy. I want to go out and get shit-faced drunk and you don't blink an eye. But Lucifer forbid I want to F a rando, let alone my F-boyfriend. I'm trying to protect you, Blitzo snapped. He threw his arm at the door. Look at where we are, F Pentagram City. There are sinner F everywhere, so what the F is he doing slumming here? He's helping the F Princess of Hell, you brain-dead jackass. Luna jabbed a claw in his chest. What? Wait, where were they exactly? Another sharp jab and a snarl had him stumble further back. He's fixing the hotel that's the F centerpiece of her stupid F plan to redeem sinners. No offense, Princess Morningstar. A lot taken. Came from the one-eyed chick standing beside F Blitzo with an ice-cold iron rod. That was Lucifer's actual child. Nah, it's cool. Dad doesn't say it, but I don't think he believes in my plan either, Princess Morningstar said with a weak smile. Oof, dreams crushed by the old man. Blitzo could relate. He watched her turn her frown around upside down as she beamed. But the joke's on him, we got our first client. Is she serious? Luna asked, then looked at the one-eyed girl. The girl groaned into a hand and Luna's ears perked. Are you serious? Someone is actually going to try this SHT? Yep, Princess Morningstar darted off and dragged over OF. Oh no, Blitzo's heart just broke. The one sinner he thought was worth a DMN, mostly because of the stupid hot pawn he was in. This is Angeldust, and he's the first sinner to check in at the Happy Hotel. Yeah, hey or whatever. Angeldust wiggled his fingers at Luna and pushed at the Princess of Hell that was clinging to him. Dame, get the F off of me, I still gotta get fat nuggets and my SHT hello, handsome. I can come upstairs, right? The F kidnapper asked as he walked out of the basement with half a F greasy and messy jumpsuit on. What F kind of royal dressed like that? Like he was as low as the rest of them. Ugh, it pissed Blitzo off on principle. And then even more so as Luna huffed and F walked over to her kidnapper, like why? Why the he's a dead mothaf. Blitzo's eye twitched as Luna initiated a embrace while cradling the royal F'er's head. forcing her tail to wag as he put his hands on her hips. Then, when it broke, his baby girl turned to look him in the eye. BLD red hellhound glare narrowed. "You should be fine, right, Dad?" Oh, she played F dirty. If he did anything right now, that would probably be the end of his relationship with Luna. If he didn't do anything, then that kidnapping PD flea would just steal her away anyway. Ugh, he just can't F win today. "Next time I won't miss." Blitzo growled and irritably pulled his flintlock out to inspect it. F thought after that stupid last itchy that my sights needed to be tweaked. Looks like I was right. A sudden hot pressure filled the room and a strong sting traveled down his spine. Blitzo found himself revisiting his worst first mistake in life again before the memory flashed away. Glowing white eyes glared into his and his airway was blocked. "What did you say, OSHT?" His hate beaner just popped into a twice as strong fear beaner. "Guns, misaligned, get off of me." Blitzo kicked at the arm that held him again and F. His body was shape-shifting. House demons only did that when they were really F pissed or really F horny. What? Stolas got KMKY, F off. Please be the latter. I can use that. The last what? The kidnapper growled again as 3 little blue eyes sprouted in a triangular arrangement on his forehead. The fur down his arms started to turn black. Speak, imp. The last what? Last it kai dash ha or some sht. Blitzo gulped as the grip loosened enough to let him breath, and sweat as the kid know. The nightmare leaned in close and his F muzzle split into 4 grotesque mandibles. Was the name Uchiha? F, maybe? Probably. Blitzo flinched and curled up as a fist drove through the wall beside him. Probably? The snarl shook the foundations as thunder rolled through the ring sky. Think very F carefully. Shitso, I'm not feeling tolerable of you right now. Yes, it was that. F thank Satan for Moxie and Millie. The little TWK and Thought were cuddled together, while unholy SHT, was the princess slipping into her true form? Maybe Blitzo should plan his next attack on the kidnapper more carefully. Princess Morningstar stood in front of the Cyclops girl and Angeldust. Wait, where was Luna? Oh, there she was, squirming against the basement door and panting. She must be F overwhelmed by the house demon. Yeah, Blitzo could relate. It's a lot. He was dropped to the ground and fell to his side. Hacking. Where did? Oh, SHT, the nightmare was crouched in front of his co-workers / F buddies. Also, wow, that was a lot of F scars on this royal demon's back. Like he'd seen actual combat or something. SHT, one of them looked like a sealed up hole. The chains that sprouted from his body waved without a wind to guide them, and yeah, alright, fine. Blitzo would F that butt raw. A series of clicks was followed by a deep growl. Tell me everything. Syrah tapped her finger on the desk in front of her. Patience was a virtue, she had to remind herself countless times. Virtues were the pinnacle of angelic requirement, but did not have embodiments as their respective vices did with Lucifer and the demonic princes of sin. Rather, it was expected of all angels, especially the heavenly host, to display understanding and show each virtue without issue. For if one could not, then they would risk opening their home to the evil of old. That said, Syrah knew this and was well practiced with displaying patience. She was the primary choice to lead heaven for countless centuries. Of course she knew it. If only the first man wouldn't test my patience so often, she muttered lowly. To say she wasn't a fan of Adam was an understatement, but it wasn't up to her who was welcomed in the kingdom of heaven. Bottom line, Adam was here, and he wasn't leaving any time soon. Much as she disliked it, she would just have to put up with his idiosyncrasies. Like she did now, not reacting when the head executioner in question kicked her door open and flew in. Ha, boom, baby, the best PP in the sky has arrived. Adam. Syrah closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Sit. Jita. Was going to? He scoffed and claimed the seat across from her. So, what it is, boss lady? I was in the middle of, evaluating some new recruits. You know? Bo chica bo wow. Chica bo wow. I have a specific target for you to deal with. It is to be your highest priority. What? Wait. Adam's grin spread into a rather alarming size. Wait, hold on. Did we get a F second extermination day? No. She was not happy with his enthusiasm for such a day. Nor was she happy with his disappointment in not getting it. This threat is one of our own. Ooh, Black Ops off the book assassination? Super spy SHT, right? Sounds hot. He leaned back and interlaced his hands behind his head. Yeah, I'm so in. Also, name of my latest sect tape. Patience was a virtue. Patience was a virtue. Patience was a F virtue. You wouldn't have a say in the matter anyway. Sarah managed to say with a straight face, you will take a small squad and deal with Raquel. There's an angel named Rachel. His mockery of demon horns seemed to straighten as he sat up in his chair. What, did she SCK a PP that wasn't mine or the Pope's? F'n SHT, do you want me to turn her back to the side of sweet bed rock and righteousness? Raquel, Sarah grit her teeth, is a former seraph, a fallen. Is she hot though? Sarah slammed a hand on her desk and stood, towering over the head executioner with her might granted by the will of heaven empowering her, with a touch of the Holy Spirit, to boot. Guess he really was keeping his hands free unless he deemed it necessary. Sarah felt honored to take the role of Metatron, if just briefly. Keep speaking as such, Adam, and remedial lessons of mine own design will lie in your immediate future. Alright, Dad. So, this Ratcher, Raquel. Adam shifted uneasily. He's like, Lucifer. No. Sarah sighed as the Holy Spirit left her. She sank into her chair, a touch drained. No, Raquel was a recruit, our first redeemed soul. And they fell? Yeah, more proof that redemption doesn't effin' work. Adam chuckled. He fell before Lucifer, but remains a member of the choir. Sorry, what? Consider Raquel your predecessor, Adam. Sarah smiled. She let her words sink in and watched realization come across the first man's mask. Yes, even you can be replaced in the eyes of God, Adam. Do try to remember that. Effers as good as dead. Are we going down to hell for this, or? We can only do so during the extermination. Sarah deadpanned and once more ignored his bloodlust. She folded her hands in front of her atop her desk. He was last sighted on Earth. That is all I can say. Ah, my old stomping grounds. Bitchin'. The first man rubbed his hands together. Maybe I can off this shithead and swing by a concert or something. Hook up with a few groupies that want some real PP. Try to keep it discreet, Sarah said, ignoring his rather loud sacrilege since that was the will of heaven. It was meant more for the assault on Raquel than it was for his latter sinful plans anyway. The last thing she needed was Lucifer to use this as an excuse to enact Armageddon. Yeah, sure. All right, I'm off to F up a traitor. Later, boss lady. In the midst of a vast clearing near the heart of a northern continent, red kaleidoscope eyes cracked open and looked up to the sky. So, that is Adam? Disappointing. His eyes closed as he clicked his tongue. How grand this new world would be if you had just let things go, Naruto. Luna had heard stories growing up of the seven sins and the powers of the Ars Gotia. The horrific tales of their might and power. They said lesser demons, or the equivalent to today's Hellborn, couldn't withstand the full presence of such foul-natured beings. Some died on the spot, others would be driven mad. As for Luna, well, now she really wanted to F her boyfriend. One would think the almost insect-like alterations to his face would make him less attractive, but like many things in hell, that was just a manifestation of demonic power. Not to mention, Luna had watched a lot of Pawn since Blitzo adopted her. Not all of it for her own gratification. She'd gone on a date with an envy-born demon once she was 18 and curious and found their sucker-like mouth intriguing. F off but didn't feel a real connection. Also, they kept staring at her tits for the duration of the date. Anyway, her boyfriend's true demonic form? This ant-like fox fiend. Luna liked it. Especially the power that radiated off of it. Were she less aware of her surroundings, she may have slipped a finger into her shorts. SHT, she might still do that. Is that right? He sent you back? Why, yes, sir. Why, you're Majay Yipe. Fatty flinched back as Naruto snapped his mandibles in his face around a hissed snarl. I am a duke in title only, imp. The mandibles clacked together before the Duke of Gluttony, Luna's boyfriend, who she so needed to F as soon as possible. She was F sick of this edging SHT, tilted his head. Why are you still naked? Funny story, really? Dress, now. Why yes, sir, sorry sir. F so hot. She couldn't stop panting. She wanted his PP, had wanted it before, but now she really wants it. No, not even wants it, she needs it. She was going to explode if it didn't get inside her. Maybe if her head wasn't clouded by longing for her stupid, strong, sexy boyfriend, she'd wonder why the F he was so pissed off about some fallen angel. But as it was, she could give two shits about his state of mind. She just wanted his F body. The floorboards groaned as he turned, and her eyes focused on the white voids that had zeroed in on her. Yes, yes, sweet merciful Lucifer, he was walking over to her. Yes, 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 come to Luna. Hey, Stas, stay away fro. Blitzo, I swear on all that's F evil, do not F ruin this for me. She snarled at the imp before she focused her attention on the sudden 9-foot demon towering over her. She was engulfed in a hug. All his fur was harder than F steel, but it felt organic, like a skin made of velvet. His scent was more coconut than violet now, and honestly, Luna was here for it, and his mandibles clicked by her ear. SHT, talk about an electric shock going up her spine. F, her tail was going to fly off at this rate. I made you a promise. Sweet F, he was not allowed to talk to her with that voice ever again. Her shorts were absolutely ruined. The mandibles teased her notched ear and her knees shook. And when I get back, I'll keep it. Wait, what? No, no, no. Don't you F go anywhere, Luna snarled up at him. F, she couldn't even reach his neck. Yeah, alright, this form? She didn't like it for that F aspect alone. Give her back the easily reachable, boop-able fox fiend, damn it, and tried to dig her claws into his broader, harder chest to climb him. Oh, something chipped. Okay, physical demand wasn't working. Emotional maybe? A not too forced whine escaped her as she kept trying to climb up his torso to reach his neck, jaw, head, anything. The fact that he wasn't helping her or responding to her whines breached through her thick haze of longing and fueled some of the subconscious concern that was there. A claw snagged a cracked, spiral-shaped panel of the chitin-like fur armor on his chest. Don't, please, please, Naruto. I need you, babe. I need you so much. Write the F now. When I get back. Oh, what the F is that lyric sound? Oh, OSHT, is that his tongue that's marking her neck? Yeah, unholy F, that's his tongue? It's gotta be at least 2, if not F 3 feet long. F, if he didn't take her right F now, she was going to break up with him. Wait, hold on, something about that sounded like it had a huge downside. Ah, right. VERYYYY was still a thing. SHT, other females existed out there. Yeah, F. Okay, that ultimatum wouldn't work. Where did his arms go? No, SHT, he's already walking away. Damn it, her legs were definitely going to give out if she tried to follow him. Okay, new plan, when he gets back, she F his brains out and never lets him ditch her again. She will lock that PP down. A wall of fire sprouted up around him. And honestly, that could work, too. If he can't leave, she can jump him. Charlie. Well, there goes Luna's motor functions. Thank everything evil that there was a wall for her to lean on behind her. F, that growl was too effective. Naru, I don't know what you're planning, but you need to calm down. The Princess of Hell lost her friendly suit and smile and hot F. If Luna wasn't totally invested in getting her boyfriend's PP locked down, she'd make a pass at that. Maybe a THRSM down the line. No, wait, focus. The horny corrupted judgment. The Princess of Hell's tail, which, where the F was that hiding, snapped, and a pitchfork pointed at the shadow behind the flames. I will stop you from doing something you'd regret. Charlie, I appreciate what you're trying to do, but take it from me, if you want to be intimidating. Oh F, he's walking through the flames of hell. Hold on, wait. Yep. Yeah, yes, that was an orgasm. Well, it was official. Luna just needed to ditch her shorts already and lock that PP down. F yesterday. Unholy FSHT. A hiss left Naruto's mandibles as he rolled his neck from one side to the next. The armor-like fur that covered his body split in segments and a thick cloud of smoke erupted out from beneath. It filled the room and SHT. If Luna wasn't absolutely F-drenched before, she certainly was now. Was that another microgasm on the horizon? Survey says yes. The sound of the segments clinking back into place was DMN near RTC on its own. Then actually be intimidating. Her boyfriend's growl was followed by an evil chuckle. A golden flash of light illuminated the area beneath the smoke. By the time it dispersed from the air, Naruto was gone. A silence filled the room before the one-eyed beach made a cough. Charlie, can you put out the fire? Oh, FSHT, I almost forgot, sorry. Vaggy. The Princess of Hell hissed and swiped her pitchfork across the air to dismiss the flames. Okay, I'll ask. Angeldust, the F-pawn star that was going clean what the F even was today, raised 2 hands. Does anyone else think that was the hottest thing since sec? Aside from the panting hellhound, anyway dame, you might want to go change. I can smell ya from here. F all of you. Luna panted and shuddered as her knees finally gave out. She let her eyes fall shut and growled when someone walked toward her. Blitzo, if you come near me, I will rip your pee-pee off and shove it into your F-buddy's stomach. Looney, I'm begging you. Please break up with him. I must be hallucinating from post-orgasmic bliss, because there is no actual F-way that you just said those F-words to me? She snarled. Her eyes cracked open and shone with murderous intent as they glared at her adoptive father. Because if you did, I'm not just moving the F out, I'm quitting my F job. Luna, come on. You have no resume worth a DMN, who the F would hire? Hey, princess. The hellhound looked at the still F evilly RTC daughter of Lucifer. Do you want any help running this shitty hotel? The Princess of Hell left her sexy true demon form and returned to the bubbly, smiling manager she was before. Yes, we can put you on security with. Absolutely not, Vaggy deadpanned. Agreed, I'd rather be a desk clerk. Luna added with a huff as her heart rate slowed. We can put you as the concierge. And now Luna had a parasite known as Blitzo clinging to her body in a tight hug. If she wasn't so drained from her boyfriend's F-teasing. Luna, thank Satan, you're awake. You've been hallucinating ever since that monster left. Saying things and thinking I've said things that I would never F-say to you. He forced a laugh and growled, actually F-growled, at Morningstar. Ah, Luna felt loved. See, that is the kind of SHT she didn't mind from Blitzo. Hey, and now she had an actual ultimatum to throw at him. Bonus. If only her boyfriend was still here to F her stupid. No, wait, he promised to come back and do that. Luna's life was good. Her tail started to wag as she drifted off in a fantasy-induced slumber while the demons around her bickered. Pass me the quiche bakeroni sandwich, babe. I don't know how you can stomach this SHT, Tex said with a shake of his head as he gave B the requested food item and then settled back with his arm over her shoulders. Another quiet night on the lead-up to the annual BU celebration, and for once B was literally hungry rather than carnally hungry. Tex wouldn't complain. His balls were empty and have been for the past month. Slightly related side note, repetitive dry orgasms are not fun. 0 out of 10, not recommended. Do not visit and save your money for a different t-shirt. Sin secret. B giggled around a bite. She sighed and snuggled into the crook of his arm. Oh, watch this. I love this part. Baby bro just rears back that rock and yes, ha, he destroyed that effin' window. Just great, little SHT. Remind me, why are we watching family movies? Tex asked, wincing as he watched the little 12-year-old mongrel who was, he would begrudgingly admit, too adorable for words with his oversized tail and short lanky limbs that he hadn't grown into. That was Naru Elzebub slam a bat into the back of Mammon's knee and run away, but not before dumping the bat in Princess Morningstar's hands. How the F did this kid survey? Lucifer intervened before Mammon could do anything to the giggling princess. 1. My house, my rules. Okay, yeah, Tex walked into that one. 2. He's gonna hit the coveted 7th millennium this year. It's gonna be a big blowout party. All the sins are coming. She scowled and her eyes flashed red. At least, they effin' better. I thought he was 23, Tex frowned. Oh, right. Yeah, physically. No, wait, that's mentally, I think, B shrugged. She licked her fingers clean of the grease her sandwich had left on it. One of her other hands twirled in the air. I mean, he's got, like, 3 ages, mental, physical, spiritual. Mentally, he's basically a late 20-something. Effin' brat. That checks out. The one-eyed hound deadpanned. Physically, he's in his SHT, 6th century? I dunno. He slept a lot during the first 3, and I kind of stopped counting once his first 10-year streak of growth without comatose naps hit. Her phone vibrated and she pulled it out. She curled her lip at the seal that displayed itself. Ugh, sorry babe, I gotta take this. You do what you gotta do. He shrugged and looked at the screen. Why the F did that child have a hacksaw? Oh, merciful B. How did he get away with this SHT? This little BSTRD was so not the lazy butt he was familiar with. If anything, he seemed worse. Thanks. B pecked his cheek and answered the call. Yeah, sup Lucy bitch? Yeah, I did just call you that. Look, I know you up your relationship, but we're not supposed to be bothered on a date night. Do not bring that up, or I swear. Tex was just gonna scoot down the couch some. For safety reasons. The fact his girlfriend was starting to get spicy, her word for growing to larger than normal sizes, not his, was not a good sign. Doubly so for who she was on the phone with. He did what? Why didn't you open with that, you dumbass? Gah, you know what? Lilith was right. You're absolutely useless where it matters. Go roast one of your precious snakes. I'll deal with it. B snarled as she hung up before she opened her mouth and tossed her hellphone in. Ugh, that's another phone number he'll have to replace from his address book. Everything all right? No SHT, I'm sorry babe. B shrank down and hovered over to hug him. She kissed his cheek and scratched behind his ear. I gotta go stop my baby bro from jump-starting the apocalypse. Hold down the place till I get back. Yeah, alright, I'll be here. Wait, what? By the time he registered what was said, B was already gone through one of her seals and left him alone with a horde of various snacks of questionable edibility. He looked back at the home movies on the screen and grabbed the remote, fast-forwarding through the footage. There's gotta be an answer to that somewhere in these. It wasn't often that Sasuke smiled. He originally hadn't since his brother eradicated their family. Not wide, happy ones, anyway. Small smirks or exchanges with his found family, now his lost family, were involuntary. Then he killed his best friend and everyone just died. Except him. Even when it was his time, he couldn't die. He would vanish, erased as if nothing mattered. To exist and then not, knowing that everything he did never mattered. No. That's why he accepted Ihu's hand. He needed to repent, to absolve himself of sin. Then the old BSTRD just up and left. Told him that his children would guide the rest, and he was needed elsewhere. Blind leading the blind. Sasuke, at the time Rackwell, was not. Nor was Lucifer. They knew someone needed to step up, that something needed to change, lest everything Ihu created was risked. Sasuke fell first, caving to his fear and restarting his repentance. I had hoped the memories would drive you to guide my son away from this path. But it is your shackle. I do not blame you, nor condemn you. I must, regrettably, expel you from the choir. It is what must happen. It is not personal, Rackwell. Wasn't it though? Wasn't it personal? To put such pressure on one former boy, not yet a man, to wash your hands of the issue. Yeah, that didn't sound personal at all. It wasn't often Sasuke smiled. The sight before him didn't change that. What the F are you smirking at, traitor? A spear-wielding angel sneered. They modeled your force's uniform after my brother's Anbu mask. Sasuke shook his head. The wicked tongue revealed many truths to him before it perished. It was older than he by millennia, and starved to death on his already empty carcass. He flicked his wings out and rose up, kaleidoscopic eyes focusing on the 100 exorcists that stared him down. I've always wanted to defeat Anbu. He's taking in tongue, sir. What do we do? Oh, I dunno. It's a nice day. Maybe let's just hover here for a minute and stare at each other like a bunch of assholes. Let's kill him. Dipshits, Adam snapped. He pointed at Sasuke and his mask's twisted grin spread into a wide smile. I got some sweet PP to F after this. I'm going to enjoy this far more than I should. Sasuke closed his eyes. He flicked his left hand and the sword of Kusanagi burst into existence. His skin darkened to match the exorcist's and a black compass rose mark spread across his face, bridged over his nose. His hair grew longer and his black feathered wings turned into massive leathered webbed claws. Dios mio, one exorcist gasped. The rest stared at him in shock and horror. Adam just arched a brow and chuckled. All right, I can admit that's effin' metal, he smirked. But there's 100 of us, dumbass. The F is one dinky little sword and a costume change going to do. It wasn't often that Sasuke smiled. But he did now. He lifted his right hand and beckoned the force of heaven forward. Come and find out. Far from the fallen angel and exorcist's clash, another fight had started what felt like hours ago. It had only been minutes. Deep in purgatory, the lands forbidden by all demons save for the sins to venture to, was a vast realm of near-nothingness. It was a remnant of an old version of hell, a land void of the concepts of life or death. Time was non-existent and space depended on the whims of the strongest occupant. It was the perfect place to stall someone. B grunted as she caught a right hook in 2 hands, then jammed the claws of 2 more into the exposed joint of the elbow. The opponent roared before he hissed. Red lightning suddenly rocketed out of the pierced skin and into her body. She roared as the limb blew off and knocked her back. She snarled and glared at her opponent as his twisted regeneration replaced the exploded arm. Baby bro, you need to chill the F out SHT. A chain wound around her ankle, and she was whipped across the vast expanse of near-nothingness that purgatory was. She landed with a roll and righted herself with a snarl, red eyes locked on the tense form of her foe. Another chain burst from the ground and wound around her neck. She was slammed face first into the not dirt, not cloud surface once, twice, and stopped the third attempt by chomping through the chain's length. She spat the horrid-tasting construct out before it made her sick. She knew better. This doesn't involve you, B. Her baby bro somehow in better control of his true form than he had been months ago when they last clashed. When and how the F did he manage that? Questions that would have to wait flexed his regenerated claws a few times as the chains retracted to hover over him. B growled and shifted. A stray thought she'd wonder about later almost distracted her. It's personal. I won't be long. Tell the short king wannabe that everything is under control. SHT, he knew Lucy sent her. Well, that's not a strong guess. He knew she knew little Char Char asked baby bro to help her with her dumb hotel rehab plan. Rehab didn't work unless those that went wanted it to work. B knew from experience. Alas, the princess didn't listen to her. So now she had to deal with an indirect consequence of it because the short king so. Rational thought would tell him that Lucy would know if and when he went true demon form. That the king of hell didn't go after him personally despite being close to Char Char was probably a courtesy. How many times do I have to tell you before it gets through your skull? B growled as she rocketed back to him and dealt a double-decked punch to his mandibled face. His white eyes blazed as his oculi narrowed. She dodged the retaliatory swipe and swept his foot out from beneath him. She twisted and cranked the limb strong enough for a sharp crack to ring out. He roared and she snarled. You are my responsibility. Anything you think is personal, F isn't. And going true form in pride? You're F grounded. You don't understand, he snarled as he twisted around and kicked her off. Oof. Huh, that hurt the void that was her stomach. Oh, hey, there's some royal honey leaking out there. That doesn't bode well. Another sharp crack had her get up while she cradled her core with one hand to see her baby bro get back to his feet, the one she just broke healed already. F seriously? How did his healing factor get faster? Unless this fight was such a bad F idea, and he snarled as his claws flexed. Did he always have 5 digits on his hands? No, B didn't think so. Oh, that's not good. Oh, F me strong. B grimaced as her baby bro's arms split down the middle. So now he had 4 arms, same as her SHT. Not even if you begged me. Whoa, hey, that was a challenge she'd never heard from him before. Wait F, was he SXLY active? Why didn't she know about this? Did Ozzy know and not tell her? Was it with the pretty pup? It had effin' better have been. B had dibs on a name for their first litterborn, SHT. She also needed to lock in the rights as their first THRSM part. Did her baby bro just explode into smoke? Oh, F. 4 hands burst out of the ground beneath her and locked around her legs. Kane KY was the first thought. Oh, SHT came second as she was suddenly dragged up into the sky and whipped around by a living ladder of baby bros. Yeah, she needed to get in on a THRSM with him and his pretty pup, the living chain of baby bros. Wait, she kind of remembered him talking about this. He called it his chain of pain. DMN. She was banking on it being a sec thing. A non-mountainside was not collapsed and shattered as she slammed into it. A giant stone that wasn't real cracked something internally when she smashed through it. Her muzzle cracked after she was whipped into the dirt several times. Okay, now she's pissed. That is enough, B snarled and stopped the momentum with a flare of power. Flash hardened honey encased the chain of baby bros and she ripped herself free of the grip. Then, she opened her mouth and inhaled. The honey-covered chain was slurped up like a noodle to the last body. B burped and patted her bruised stomach as she lowered down to the ground. Sometime in VOR timeout should cool you off. Pass. WH. A double-decker right hook exploded into her cracked, now broken muzzle and she bounced across the not rock strong, not liquid soft surface of purgatory 7 times. Queen Bee was back in the air with a wince in a second before she glared and snarled at her baby bro as he stared her down. Oh, come on, she didn't get him. Stupid broken clone SHT. She growled and her wings buzzed. Fine, he wants a fight. He's getting an F fight. No more kid gloves. She coated her claws in a special blend of honey. It would paralyze him the second it entered his bloodstream. She'd perfected it with Belle's help. Are you trying to make me hungry? Because it's working. Baby bro growled as his tail cracked the air behind him. Literally. SHT. Purgatory was starting to break down from their continued presence in it. Either she ended this now or called in some help. Yeah, okay, so F that second idea on principle. She was Queen Beelzebub, demonic prince of gluttony, and she was not going to be the one to lose here. Baby bro, you are so F-grounded. Grow, are you seriously trying to parent me? His roar was shrill and echoed with a hiss. His mandibles clacked as his 4 sets of claws flexed. F, what is so F wrong with me going to kill a F butt that deserves to die? The F consequences your actions will have, you ignorant little shithead, she snapped. F, how did she raise such an ignorant little shithiel? F the consequences, I deserve this. His oculi burned white and orbs started to grow in his palms. His glare met hers and his mandibles curled into a grotesque scowl. Why the F does it matter to anyone how I deal with a fallen angel? That F-er put his hand through my chest. I want my PND of flesh. Wait, what? Lucai told B that he was going to attack an angel, not a fallen angel. What the SHT are you talking about? No, I'm done talking. If you won't get out of my way, B, then F, just try to survive. What the foo? Baby bro shoved the 4 glowing orbs on his hands into his mouth and swallowed before he dropped to a 6-legged stance. His torso suddenly expanded and that awful FSHT left in place by the F-wad started to leak out of his body. 4 chains that wound around him in various spots, the 2 by his ears and the 2 by his ankles dissolved into particles that gathered toward his now open mouth. Her understanding of reality vanished. A voice she'd never heard before echoed around purgatory. If asked later, she would shamelessly admit to finding the gravelly growl incredibly sexy and super RSNG. An image of the speaker overlapped, if not overshadowed, her baby bro's form. A colossal orange fox with voids around its red eyes and marks not unlike those on her baby bro's face on either cheek. It also had 9 long and very petable tails flowing behind it. Its red eyes had one sin evident in them. The same sin the white voids her baby bro had as he spoke about this target of his. Wrath. By Jadama. A giant purple-black orb rocketed out of her baby bro's mouth and he instantly deflated. B threw up several thick walls of honey, layered by hexagonal combs that should stop any attack. Should. The walls held for a second each, before they shattered. Queen Bee could only stare in stunned shock as the impossible attack approached her. As it neared, she tasted its vibes. The attack had vibes. It was nothing but negative vibes. Baby bro manipulated the rank vibes and turned them into an attack, with the SHT from the F-wad empowering it. I want that. The orb struck true and purgatory shattered. Naruto huffed and puffed as he surveyed the destruction his attack left. B was gone, but not dead. Probably teleported away at the last second, right? Yeah. He'd feel it if she were dead, and even if that were the case, her death would be because of him. Just another reason to erase the name Uchiha from the Book of Life. Snarl hissing, he strode into the abandoned corridors of hell, to use them as a cover. Lucifer sent B as a courtesy, but with her defeat, the sins would try to hinder him. To stop him. He wouldn't be stopped. He would deal with this. He had to deal with this. He needed to be able to sleep tonight. The house seal of Elzebub shifted. A second line bridged the ears of B's seal, and was intercepted by a circle where a white spiral appeared within. A portal to Earth swirled into existence in front of him. As he strode through and emerged to a calamity of chaos and death, a memory struck him. I'll drag you back even if I have to break every bone in your body. You won't even be able to leave a scratch on me. His mandibles clicked and his tail lashed. Clouds formed overhead and the ground began to tremble. Oh, I'll leave more than a F scratch this time, Sasuke. 4 clawed hands curled into fists. F count on it. B shot up with a gasp. She looked herself over and patted herself down. 4 arms and hands? Check. 2 legs? Check. Wings and melons? Yep, still there. Tight butt and puss? Intact and still tight. How? The last thing she remembered was fighting her baby bro and getting ready to paralyze him before he... Fuyuak. She had totally lost. Ugh, she was never going to live this down if any of the other sins found out. Ozzy would let it slide, he was the weakest of them. Something Mammon and Levy wouldn't let him forget, but the rest definitely would not. Easy fix, just make sure they don't find out. Now, to answer the other burning questions on her mind. How the F did he turn bad vibes into that? It is a skill only his kind are capable of. B did not yelp, regardless of what anyone may say. Even if they did say it, they were filthy F-liars who lied and deserved to be eaten. She whirled around with a snarl and a razor-sharp edge sat at her neck, attached to a curved sickle held by a hooded figure. Glowing red eyes peered at her from the shadows of the hood. It has been a long time, Glotona. Lobo. B swallowed and forced a smile as she tried to quell every reaction or outburst possible. The Reaper's bounty hunter didn't like being hit on nor needled with her enthusiastic hedonism. Shame, because he was super hot beneath the hood. Yeah, she still kind of had a small crush on him that had been there since they first met 7 millennia ago, and she'd heard from the few lucky beaches over the centuries he'd F about his unrivaled skill in the sack. A few of them tried to lure him back with suicide. Needless to say, it doesn't work. She raised both left hands in a small wave as her ears burned. H.A. Greetings unto you, Beelzebub. Actually, I prefer to go by B. I don't care. He huffed and pulled his sickle away from her throat. She could breathe again, relatively speaking. He gestured to the fire pit behind him. Seated around it were other members of his pack, the Coin Scythe, all clad in the same ragged black cloth hood Lobo wore. Join us? It wasn't a question. Only the exceptionally stupid ignored offered aid from the Hounds of Death. Also, she could eat a meal with the one guy that was on her F bucket list and free pass list with text. Effin' awesome. Few, if any of the pack dared lowered their hoods in the presence of strangers, even if she was a demonic prince, but that was their custom so she didn't take it personally. 2 such exceptions were a green-furred pup with bright yellow wraps around his legs and a snow-white pup with heterochromatic eyes who had a fitted, clothed muzzle over his muzzle. They looked young, not even out of adolescence, and were quick to make space for her, and Lobo when he sat beside her. The pack rose, save for the boys, who gave B a bowl of, she wasn't sure what it was. It looked like gruel only prisoners would eat, but it smelled F amazing. She had to control her ravenous appetite, and her mouth watered the longer she held the bowl. Lobo took his and then growled at the pups. They fled, to the other side of the fire, staring at her. Aw, so cute. They were intrigued by her, must be new bloods on top of youth. So, small talk. B, you can do that. You're not bad at it. You do it all the F time at parties that you host, and have control of HM. In hindsight, B might be bad at small talk. How's it been? Reap anyone? Interesting lately. You are awful at small talk. Lobo deadpanned as he pulled his hood back. F, that white fur bled perfectly into the black around his red eyes. Now that she stared at him, he looked a little familiar. She was startled from her thoughts as he slurped down some of his meal and licked his chops as he lowered the bowl. This is not a long rest. Eat as you would. Sorry. B winced and without thinking, shoved the bowl into her mouth. She swallowed and sighed as the delicious taste filled her. F, that was so good. She ate the bowl. The white pup's flat tone almost made her jump. His friend growled at him and whacked his arm. Despite the chastising, the white pup's gold and blue eyes stared at her through half-fallen lids. Right. New BLD. She smiled at him and leaned forward with her hands perching her chin. Well, aren't you a cute one? What's your name, kiddo? He continued to stare at her. The vibes he gave off were nothing. Yeah, B didn't know how to deal with that. A soft clatter had her sneak a peek at the hottie beside her. He actually had a smile on his face as he looked at the two. Why don't you and Guy go play? I will entertain our guest. Come on, you heard him? I don't want to. Betcha I can beat you to the creek this time. Loser has to do 10 push-ups. The mossy-furred pup practically pulled the white pup along with him as he ran off. B smirked and glanced up at Lobo from the corner of her eye. Cute pups. Yours? The packs. He drawled as he leaned forward and stared into the fire. His eyes went half-lidded, almost disinterested. B was getting such a weird feeling of déjà vu from that. Probably because it had been so long. You know, you almost died today. Beg pardon? That attack, if she had been any slower in detecting it, you'd have died. She looked off in the direction the white pup had vanished in, and then back in time to meet the bright red eyes Lobo used to hold her in a sidelong stare. That creature you faced, its kind, has not been seen in eons. Fox fiends? B asked. She wondered where Lucifer got that stupid F name from, but if it was a legitimate thing. The F is a foxfie. No, the Jinchuriki. The bounty hunter huffed. B blinked. There goes that slight respect for the short king wannabe. What's a Jinchuriki? A thing that should be long dead. They were original natives of the Ever After. Ah, yeah, that was a name for Hell's prototype that Lobo grew up with. Not purely, but close enough. Altered by magic, used to host creatures of great calamity. They could alter the world around them with ease. Okay, B was starting to feel bored. Old school lore wasn't her thing. She had things she could be doing. A baby bro to hunt down, a king to chew out. You know, actual important SHT. The point I am trying to make is that you, Beelzebub, red eyes narrowed at her, are not irreplaceable. Do not chase death, lest it find you. Are you coming on to me, F? B, come on. You know better than that unless... No. He deadpanned as he looked back at the fire. TCH, damn it. Of course he wasn't. I do not need my pack getting distracted by your quarrels with your kin, especially if you know nothing about his origins. What do you know about my baby bro? Her eyes narrowed. I know he is past due to be reaped. Somehow his soul cheated the system. Okay, hottie or not, B was not going to let him blatantly threaten her baby bro like that. She growled as her hands balled into fists. He glanced at her and huffed a soft laugh. Calm yourself, Glitona. He is not the only soul that managed to do so. Just one of the oldest. I will let him live this life of his to the last minute before he is hunted. And when is that? That would be telling. Lobo stood and sent a wave of cold wind to douse the fire. Snow started to fall and were they in sloth? How the SHT did she get down here? Enjoy your time with this family, Beelzebub, for it is limited. Is that a threat? B asked, rising from her seat to snarl at his back. She felt her spice increase and growled. Are you threatening me, Lobo? I do not threaten worms. The wolf snarked. B bristled at the casual brush off. He drew his hood and walked into the rising snowstorm. I let them die naturally. He released a whistle and his nomadic clan whistled back. It chorused into a tune, an eerie disquieting sound that made her fur stand on edge as they all marched away. The last to leave was she, who stood on a hill and stared at her. He looked at his departing clan and then back at her. Then he was in front of her. He's fast. His blue eye was covered by a hand and he tilted his head. His other eye closed, a mockery of a smile barely evident on his covered muzzle. Tell Naruto to eat plenty of vegetables and that I will happily wait to see him again. B felt her breath catch. What the SHT did that mean? Before she could ask, he was gone. In a poof of smoke. That smelled and tasted almost like the SHT her baby bro used to make his. Does everyone know how to use those F-clones but us? She shook her head and made a portal beneath her feet. She had to get back to Tex and borrow his phone. Lucifer had a lot to answer for. The drums of war thundered around them. Angelic spears flew and clashed against the steel of a blade. Adam sneered as he locked up against Raquel. "You're not effing tough. You're nothing," he spat as he struggled to get past the stupid short sword. "Just a waste of my time. I could be the tight butt of a literal angel right now." "Well, we at least agree on one part of this." His voice barely changed. It was infuriating. His eyes locked with Adam's. The world around them went silent. This is a waste of time. A wave of power, unearthly and nothing like he'd seen from the forces of heaven, barraged into the exorcist. Within it was an echo of the word time. Adam floated in an abyss. There was nothing. He was alone. Alone, alone, alone. "You are never alone, Adam. I am with you. Always." Adam gasped and the void vanished. A scream had him turn to see his exorcist forces culled down to a small group of 5. No, wait. 4. SHT. That beach was a beast with a spear. He wasn't going to hear the end of this anytime soon. First things first. I'm going to kill that mothaf. Adam growled as he held his hand up. Eat the almighty holy power of the first PP, shithead. A blast of golden energy fired out of his palm. A rocky mountain in the distance crumbled. Adam smirked as the group of exorcists remained unfazed and their opponent was missing. Well, that takes care of that. He started to push himself to his feet. A blade slid down over his shoulder against his neck. Adam groaned into an exasperated laugh. "Oh, why don't you just drop dead already? It doesn't stick." As what she said. "Dust this beach." Adam barked at the 4 exorcists that remained, throwing himself out of the line of fire and getting a nick on the jaw for his efforts. Scattered blasts of holy energy came from the spears of his exorcists. He landed in a heap and clutched at the golden BLD on his chin. "God F. Sir," one of the 4 came over to him. SHT, the F was her name again? Lulu, Lana, Ukulele? She helped him back to his feet as the others were sliced apart behind her. "Well, this mission is a dud." Adam grimaced as the fallen angel turned to them. The sky darkened overhead and the fallen's eyes shone. "Oh, SHT. He was a seraphim," bimbo exorcist with the nice set of tits asked. SHT, her name was right on the top of his tongue. Maybe her CLT was there before too. "Yes." F. Sneaky F-er. Adam and what's-her-name jumped and spun around. There were 2 of him? Nope, just the one. Fast and sneaky, terrible combination. Adam preferred cocky, slow bastards. Like Cain. F. Cain. Raquel used his palm and fingers to clean his sword of heavenly BLD. He then deflected the weak spear move that was sent his way by the exorcist chick Adam didn't remember the name of. "You asked what I would do against the 100 of your number, yes? Tell me." As the last remaining duo. Kaleidoscope eyes blazed red. "Did I answer your question?" "Cocky son of a bitch. You're lucky this is a black op," Adam snarled. "If I had the rest of my band with me." "Oh, F. That's a sword grazing his TSTCLS, okay? Quiet time now." The results would remain the same. Raquel drawled. He stepped forward and flicked a hand at the last exorcist. She was sent flying by a gout of fire. Useless cunt. Adam toppled and scrambled away. Or tried to. The fallen's sword rose up, fell and pierced his. "F mothaf, PP sucking WHR, that was my PP. Could have sworn I aimed for the artery at the base of your thigh. My apologies." Raquel knelt down and grabbed Adam's chin. Kaleidoscopic eyes stared into his masked ones. The fallen's head tilted, and he snorted. "I expected more from the first man. Thankfully, you killed enough time for me." "The F does that mean?" Those eyes looked up and the F-er smiled. "Lovely day for a storm, isn't it?" Adam followed his gaze up. He frowned. "I'm pretty sure lightning isn't supposed to be red." "It isn't. Good. You do have a brain. Heaven isn't hopeless after all." F this guy on F principle. He shoved his sword further down F, scraped the PP, and then patted Adam's cheek. "Be sure to pay attention. Learn something. Learn from this, but, oh yeah, this beach is his new number 2, lewd." She was getting some tender gentle anal later. Why? She just stabbed Raquel through the spine with a spear. F. Yeah. Insolent, ungrateful. The fallen spun and beach smacked the beach away. Huh, was that dust cloud in the distance where she landed? He snarled, yanked the spear out, and why was his BLD blue? The F pushed a hand over it. That's what I get for playing with my food. Just a moment and oh, SHT. The ground shook and lightning crashed down nearby. Adam looked at the impact and... What? The F. What the F did those stupid humans do to my aunts? Adam cried as he took in the monstrous form that landed. Naruto landed down on the desert ground in a crouch and rose to his true form's full height. Bodies of angels littered the land. Golden BLD splatter was on the ground. There was a struggling angel off to the side and another one with a sword in its leg. It was the F-er holding the sword that he focused on. A face that hadn't changed much in all the years since he was killed. His eyes sure F changed though. His tail lashed and lightning struck nearby as he snarled. Naruto really hated those stupid eyes. Sasuke. Every ounce of hate he could muster was put into the word, but it wasn't enough. Hurt, betrayal, and loathing poured into it as well. His fangs were bared, his 4 sets of claws flicked out and gleamed. Naruto, always so dramatically late. Sasuke stood and oh, bleeding already, huh? Fine by him. Fighting B had taken a lot out of him. This just evened the playing field. The BSTRD cracked a smirk. Took you long enough. Sasuke. No. Sasuke frowned, his eyes blazed. He withdrew his sword, the angel screamed in agony and strode forward. No, you don't get to be upset. The F did he just say? Was no, he wasn't being serious, it was Sasuke. Of course he was being serious. Naruto's tail slammed into the dirt and thunder rolled across the sky. I don't get to be upset? That's F-rich coming from you, but, he barked and matched the pace. They both started to sprint at each other. Naruto snapped fingers on 2 hands and a clone appeared on either side of him. Between their efforts, 4 rasengans swirled into existence, 1 in each hand. Sasuke's sword crackled with lightning before it erupted into a storm of black. Why did that sword look familiar? Not important. Focus, kill him proper. A few feet before colliding, the fox fiend snarled and jumped up with his arms pulled back. At the peak before his descent, he brought all 4 spheres forward. Rasengan. Kusanagi, Chidori. Sasuke slid to a stop and raised his blade in front of him at an angle. Their attacks collided and they were both sent back by the resulting shockwave. Naruto landed with a roll. One of the rasengan had detonated on him and his upper left arm had to regenerate. His claws caught him before he went too far and his mandibles popped open with a hissed snarl. Sasuke landed with a backflip into a skidded slide. He used his sword to keep himself steady. His 6 hand like wings there were 6 of them now. Just the 2 were strong enough to bypass. At least they were smaller snapped open behind him. His red eyes narrowed. Still relying on inferior technique. Still Orochimaru's punk beach? So hostile, old friend. What did I ever do to deserve? This son of a bitch was not being glib about this. Naruto snarled and shot forward. 6 limbs propelled him across the ground like a jet-propelled locomotive. He rose up and cracked the fallen angel across the cheek when close enough, then caught his ankle in 4 hands when he was almost sent flying away from the force of the blow. He spun on the ball of his foot, once, twice, and a 3rd time before he WHP slammed the BSTRD back first into a new crater. SHT load of good those wings of his did when they were shattered beneath him. His digitigrade foot rose up and crashed down onto the open wound on his killer's stomach. The F-er didn't even give him the courtesy of crying out. Stubborn butt, scream beach. What did you do? Did you F seriously just ask me that? Naruto leaned in and snarled in Sasuke's face. Bleary weird butt Sharingan spun lazily in his eyes. A swift jab to the face made them close and splattered Naruto's face with his weird blue BLD. Let's walk it back. Mothaf. 1. You betrayed the village for the same F-creep that killed old man Hokage. 2. You attacked our F-teammate, our friend, and left her in critical care. Oh, and 3. And this one really F-pissed me off. You F-killed me, F-face. Is that all? Unf. Another punch knocked teeth down his throat and the cursed seal appearance melted away. F-er still didn't look different. It made his BLD boil. No, matter of fact, it F isn't. Naruto bared his teeth as his true form receded, leaving him back in his now ruined utility jumpsuit, unable to keep it up after his fight with B and the few minutes he and this dumbass had already been fighting. He snapped his muzzle together a few times while his arms wobbled after forcibly merging. He hauled his former F friend up by the collar of his suit. The F was this butt wearing a suit for? And growled in his face. Not only did you F kill me, but you attacked one of my precious people. You already mentioned Sakuo, so that hellhound was the girl your signature was with at the pier. He cracked an eye open and smirked. She's so out of your league. His nose better be permanently F crooked from the amount of times Naruto smashed his fist into it. It didn't matter how F right he was, the fox fiend didn't want to hear it from this shithead's mouth. He was so F lucky all he did to harm Luna was healed in less than a day. The F are you still laughing for? Don't you F care? He snarled as his eyes began to burn and his knuckles slowly regenerated from the dust they'd been pounded into. The spice of hate gave way to a sour sorrow as the betrayal from so long ago flashed, as if fresh in his mind. You killed me, Sasuke. All I just wanted to F help. You were my brother, you DMNBSTRD. Effin' idiot. He smirked up at him. Blue BLD raced down his face as his weird butt Sharingan spun slowly, like a kaleidoscope. SYII did it. This crazy moth-aff Naruto would never understand him. The overwhelming fire of hate and rage had become an ember. The emotional exhaustion of fighting BSHT. He really hoped she was okay, and then his killer was getting to him. A shift of rock to the left had his ear twitch. A flap of wings made Naruto glance over. Oh right, the other angels. Exorcists. Were the exorcists angels? And they smell like Charlie's girlfriend. Weird. Sir, we've been spotted. No SHT. Naruto was going to wave them off. Ignore them. He had what he needed. The answer didn't make sense, but it would once he wailed some more fists into Sasuke's face. He'd make the smug prick explain himself. He pulled another fist up. Dodge this, Muffa. You're F kidding me. Naruto threw himself out of the way as a giant beam of angelic power scorched the spot he and Sasuke were once in. Wait, where was? A flare of energy caught his attention and a red gate was open nearby. Sasuke sat on its ledge. He wiped BLD from his chin and smirked. No. Always too slow. No. Naruto scrambled to his feet and ran. He felt the spice of wrath fill his veins again and accepted the second wind it offered. His body snapped and groaned as he returned to his true form. Not even finished, 3 of his chains flew forward at his bidding. Next time, Sasuke fell back into the gate just before the chains could snag him. The crimson gate closed and he dove for it. The gate shrunk out of existence as he passed through where it was. It was gone by the time he whirled around to look at it. No, 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 no. He slammed his fists into the ground and the sky roared in his stead. No. He had him. He had him. He had the moth-aff that killed him. That hurt Luna. That betrayed all of them. White sparks danced in his vision as a muffled curse caught his ear. The exorcists, they did this. You. His mandibles spread as he snarled. He got to his feet and stalked toward them. The ground trembled with each step, cracked beneath his feet. The sky wailed and screamed as his tail and chains whipped about like the frenzied heads of a hydra. His 4 hands clenched into tight fists. You can't touch me. The exorcist smirked. He used a spear to stand, and the other exorcist helped him. Both started to back away. Extermination Day clause. Dipshit. I've got diplomatic immunity. Is that right? He stopped his advance. His tail lashed as his teeth ground together. Best let you go then. Yeah, kill you next time, F-wad. Let's go, Lent. Loot, sir. F whatever. They turned and flew off. Wait a F minute. Naruto threw both left arms forward. The chains around them shot out like missiles and wound tight around the 2 heavenly beings' torsos. They were pulled in and he held them over his head, eyes locked on the bloodied male. He flicked the female away and held the butt behind his lost quarry by the throat. His mandibles clicked and he hissed his next snarl into the exorcist's ear. That clause only extends to Extermination Day, dipshit. F. Naruto turned and slammed him headfirst into the dirt strong enough to make the ground shake. He backed away and kept all 5 eyes on the exorcist. Then he squared up the dazed BSTRD's head between 4 index fingers. He charged forward and drove his digitigrade foot into the angel's neck. He flew. You BSTRD. Oh, right, there were 2 F. Naruto roared as a spear pierced into a space between his armored shoulder and collarbone. 2 right arms reached up and snagged his assailant, while the left duo ripped the spear out of both his body and her hands. She was slammed back first into the dirt. One right hand on her chest kept her pinned, while another yanked the stupid F-imp mask off of her face. That was a very bad idea. He growled. She glared at him and she looked just like. What were the odds? He scented the air and, DMN, that rotten chicken smell was so familiar. He tilted his head and squinted 5 eyes at her. Do you know someone named Vaggy? That little beach is still alive? The exorcist sneered. Good to know. I can't wait to kill her myself, finish what I started with her eye. Well, now, that wouldn't do. That was Charlie's girl she was talking about, the protected one. He owed both her and Charlie for wait a minute. Did she know her girlfriend was a F-angel? He can worry about that later. Their help with Luna. Very poor choice of words. Were his mandibles capable of it? Naruto would have grinned. Instead, he brandished the angel's spear and held it to her face. You know what they say, an eye for an eye. No, no, the heavenly soldier shrieked as he carved into her face. A deep gash to remind her of her folly, of her hubris. By the end of his arts and crafts, there was a pentagram around her eye. He stepped away and allowed her to writhe and sob. F you. Sorry, not interested? He glanced at the sound of a sonic boom. Oh, hey, your boyfriend's back. Get ready to die, whatif. I love that song. Naruto pulled himself out of the way of another holy blast via chain. His eyes shone and the world blurred as he moved. He jumped up and snagged the exorcist in a winding of chains. But you know what song I love even more? What the F are these F things made of? Dunno, chakra probably. Anyway, Naruto sprinted for the nearest ocean and slid to a stop on the beach. He spun again, once, twice, and several more times before his chain let go and launched the exorcist like a rocket. I get wet. She ain't. Hey, 8 skips. Naruto's tail wriggled as the exorcist's splash caused a tidal wave that rushed toward him. New record. Sura covered her face as she watched Adam and his lieutenant get mocked and made fools of. She checked in 20 minutes prior to see his progress with Raquel. Expectedly, his losses were tremendous, but unexpectedly was the arrival of a Hellborn, a Hellhound, or variant of such. Perhaps Sura wasn't an expert. That immediately matched and surpassed the wounded Raquel. Her fears grew stronger. If Lucifer's natural warriors were this strong against heaven's chosen forces, a gentle ring of bells had her open Peter's hellish and outlandish networking equipment. The screen flew up and Sura frowned. Why were 2 of the 7 sins on this call? Lucifer. She nodded to her kin and then narrowed her eyes at the other. Beelzebub. Sup, beach, ever so pleasant, the gluttonous queen. Sira. Lucifer kept blinking his left eye. Was it darker around the lid or, have you been watching proceedings? Is our issue dealt with? Right. She agreed to keep Lucifer informed lest he send someone to fight Raquel. Her eyes narrowed. It would have been if I could warn my people that you were sending your own warrior to aid them. Baby bro? Beelzebub groaned into 2 hands, while the other 2 wrung out ARBB duck. Not important. 4 arms, candid appearance, hellhound adjacent. This was much worse than Sira anticipated. The sins were able to replicate? The resemblance was uncanny. And I would have if I did. I'm a king of my word, unlike others we shan't speak of. Lucifer snapped. He glared at Beelzebub and hissed. Release Mr. Quackums. Huh? Snackums? Where? I fail to believe you didn't send this warrior, Sira interjected before either could argue. The demon was far too capable to be revealed on such a whim. Although the way he focused on Raquel implied previous encounter, perhaps? Yeah, no, this is B's fault. My fault? I told you to keep him in check. You also told me he was going after a F Archangel. I thought he was going to spark Armageddon. Well, I wasn't wrong. He is fighting an angel now, or at least, I presume he is, Lucifer said, and rested his hands on his cane. Tell me, Syrah, did he do what was needed? Keep talking about baby bro like that. Lucai, I dare you. If I may answer. Syrah interjected before another argument took place. She glanced at the video and winced as Adam got kicked through a parked automobile. He did not, but that was due to my inability to warn my forces that they would receive aid from a Hellborn. They're fighting each other? That's hilarious, Lucifer chuckled before he stopped. Wait, no it isn't. What happened to Raquel, Syrah? The fault lies with my lack of forewarning. My agents saw two foes of heaven and attempted to overstep their parameters. Syrah frowned. Adam's bloodlust bit them in the butt again. For now Raquel knew both hell and heaven were after him. She was alarmed when Beelzebub snarled and held a hand up. It failed, mercifully. Raquel used the distraction to slip away. As for the other, she jumped when Beelzebub's monstrous true form suddenly filled the screen. Cloud munching moth F. If one hair on his head is so much as singed, there will be nowhere high enough for you to hide from me. B. Go to the kitchen and get food. You're spicy. You, shortstop. I said go, Beelzebub. The snarl that echoed from the other side made Syrah pause and her wings plumage fluffed. The sin of gluttony shot away, cursing under her breath as she did, and Lucifer turned back to his more reserved appearance. I apologize for that, but in her defense, this is her younger brother we're talking about. Practically raised him all by herself. Not as well as I raised my daughter, but you get the gist. The king of hell chuckled and leaned on his cane. Now, do we have any more leads for Raquel's location? Would you share it if you knew? Syrah accused. Lucifer feigned a look of shocked hurt. You think I would deny you the pleasure of killing that phony? Syrah. Tesk. You know me better than that. Quite. She pursed her lips and glanced back at the fight. Oh, merciful angels were not supposed to bend that way. She swallowed an unpleasant mass that tried to escape from her esophagus and looked back at Lucifer. We have no leads as of yet, but I will inform you if anything comes up. Will you please recall your underling? Yours is losing that bad, huh? Maybe I should dump the runt in wrath until he cools off. Have him play bodyguard for one of Payman's chicks during their little ritual thingamagic. Yeah, that could work. No one likes dealing with those pricks. Are you going to? Oh, you're still there? Well, since you asked so nicely. Lucifer chuckled and snapped his fingers. On the screen that displayed the fight, the Hellborn was suddenly swallowed down into a demonic seal that Syrah vaguely recognized as the mark of pride. Anything else? No. Keep me posted on Raquel. Got it. Otherwise, well, I have a new attack dog to train. That was a horrifying thought. Good day, Lucifer. F off, Syrah. Hey, sport, how's life? Oh, F me. That call couldn't have ended any sooner. Syrah sat back in her seat with a sigh. She wondered what kind of twisted soul the sibling of Beelzebub had to be so vile in appearance. Beelzebub completely ignored the Snackum's bag she just opened as she watched the king of hell sit down across from her baby bro. She wasn't allowed in the room, but she could watch from one of the monitors that oversaw it. For all his eccentricities and doofus-like behavior, Lucai was shrewd as well as powerful. It's why B willingly followed him and listened to his decrees when they weren't totally asinine. He never really got over Quack like a duck day getting vetoed so strong as the cross-dimensional holiday. Do you understand what this entails? Yeah, sure. A smack was followed by a whine as the king of hell took hold of the fox fiend's mane and shoved his face into the table. B snarled. It wasn't Lucai's place to punish her idiot baby bro when he was being stupid. That honor was hers, and to a lesser extent, her baby bro's pretty pups. Come to think of it, what was Pretty Pup up to? She'd been off the gram for a few days now, B wondered before she snapped back to attention as Lucai snarled. This is a serious conversation, you little effer. Pay attention. I am paying attention. Like F you are. If that's true, why the F do you keep glancing at the clock? You got a hot date or something? Baby bro just quietly growled. B rubbed her temples. He didn't. Her baby bro was not so stupid as to go into a fight against a F angel and expect to walk out okay. Ready to go woo the pretty pup, right? She raised him to be smarter than that. Lusai arched his brow. Really? Is it with that little mutt? Don't call Luna a mutt. B sighed as the king of hell's incredulous blink gave way to a wide, toothy grin. While, yes, she agreed that Lucy shouldn't call the pretty pup a mutt, her baby bro shouldn't have snapped back. It cost him some positions in Lusai's F-up game. This was why she didn't let her brother handle the real important SHT on his own. He always got too emotional. Oh ho, look at those teeth! Lusai and released baby bro's stupid soft mane to grab his mouth. He rubbed his thumb against a canine and peered into it as it gleamed. Yes, yes, sharp and clean. Good hygiene is often overlooked by the youth of today. Good on you. Baby bro growled, his brow twitched. Lusai's smile dimmed. Not feelin' amicable? Okay, we'll play it your way, you brat. His cane snapped out and hooped baby bro on the head. The fox fiend dropped like a sack of potatoes. Bee's lips curled and she crushed her snack bag in her hand. Lusai was having too much fun with this. He needed another black eye. A jolt of magic had him shoot awake with a gasp. Here's the rundown sport, pay attention, I ain't repeating myself. Okay, baby bro at attention was an interesting look. Bee pulled her phone out and snapped a pic. Then she looked at the dried red bandage on his shoulder. The evidence of a angelic weapons stab wound made her scowl. Angels. I don't give it SHT what your history with Raquel is. No, I am talking. Lusai barked when baby bro opened his mouth. The ring itself fell silent. Lusai adjusted his hat and cleared his throat. If you find him again, kill him. Dead on the spot. Is that understood? Yeah. I asked if that was understood, okay, Lusai. The true form scare was not necessary. Yes, Lord Lucifer. Good. Lusai smiled and reverted to his short king form. Very good. Now, you will finish up with Charlie's little request, and you won't F it up, and then report back here. No side quests or subplots are allowed. Are we clear? As a crystal. Perfect. Lucy smiled and strode out. He stopped at the door. Oh, and tell me, Duke of Gluttony, what do you think of hedonism? B sucked in a sharp breath. That's Sanova, she told Lusai about that in confidence. Not my philosophy? Well, clearly B had some remedial lessons she needed to teach. Interesting. He's all yours, B. Finally, Beelzebub smashed through the wall and glomped her baby bro tight enough to make him whimper. Her snout pressed to the base of his ear and she inhaled deep. The vibe check didn't reveal a lot had changed. He was scared now, but that was to be expected. There was an underlying scent of relief as he returned her hug. Baby bro returned the favor, which only filled the sweet vibes in the air. Was breaking the wall absolutely necessary, Lucy? Go make more ducks. B grumbled as she continued giving her baby bro a proper vibe check by switching to sniff at the base of his other ear. Lusai huffed and left in his signature flaming middle finger. When she was finished, she scratched at his weak point by his jaw. You are so lucky I got context out of Lusai for that stupid fight, baby bro. Otherwise, you'd be in vor timeout for smashing my face into the ground. And not in a fun way. He whined as her claws pinched into his skin and his tail started its cute wriggle. Shori. B. Me, too. B hummed and continued scratching the sensitive cluster of nerves at his jawline. Eventually she'd guided him to lay on her lap as she did. His purring and happy content mindless whines filled the air. She smiled as she raked claws through his mane and kept the minor assault on his weak spot. So, what's tonight's date plan? Date? With the pretty pup. You've got a date tonight, right? Date? The F was his right. Essentially brain dead while his spot was scratched. Ugh, but B loved his cute little whines and the way his tight butt shook when his tail wriggled. Oh well, sacrifices must be made. Besides, she can always snag him for more cuddles later. Her claws moved away from his jawline and traced circles in his neck. The purring lessened, as did the tail butt wriggling, but clarity returned to the bright blues as they met her red. Ready to try again? Baby bro's ears went flat. He cleared his throat and tried to sit up, which B was not going to allow just yet. Just, something chill. Low maintenance, a sit-in date at a hotel. B didn't think that was enough of a wow factor. The thick sense of embarrassment, excitement, nervousness, anticipation and arsehole that was filling the air, however, convinced her to drop it. She patted his head. Alright, second question, and this one's kind of important. When and how did you get so good at using your true form? That's technically 2 questions. Did I stutter? No, he sighed. So? A week back, between gigs and after my coffee date with Loon, I went down to see Cerberus. B stopped stroking baby bro's hair and growled. He rolled his eyes. Oh, come on, don't get pissed. You won't let me train anymore. You don't train, you inflict self-harm. Furthermore, he doesn't train you, he beats you. B argued. There's a difference? Baby bro, I think you might be an MSCST. I am not. Baby bro growled and crossed his arms on her knee to rest his chin on. His ear flicked and a small hint of flustered irritation shot up from the act. I just like knowing what my body can handle. Oh, the ways that statement could be misconstrued. B hummed and twisted her hip to sit in a lounged position. All right. Fine. Keep your secrets. She huffed. I'll just ask Russ for deets later. Pretty sure today's Serb's day with the phone. It is so irritating that you know that, she groused. Baby bro had the audacity to smirk. I know. This little SHT, that's it. Time to bust out the sisterly rights. You know, I think you owe me a favor. The F I do. So began another playful argument between the Elzebub siblings, one that, as the natural order intended, was won by the elder. Mostly because the younger had plans for the evening and the elder also had her own partner to return to. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 7. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author BonesBoy15 on FANFICTIONnet. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.